World Championship. I'm TJ, joined by the Admiral. That's Admirable. And we have the pleasure of starting the day off here for day number 3. Nathan, it's elimination day.
That's right. It's one of my favorite times of the tournament is when it's do or die. All of your work, all of your effort, all of your year's pursuit culminates today in a single best-of-5 match. If you don't win every single one that you're in, your tournament comes to an end.
Yeah, this is how we're going to start off the day with the first 4 lower matches of each group. It's Bloodtrail versus XiaoT for Group A. That's going to be our first match of the day. Then we're going to head into Languagehacker versus Muzzy, Ike versus A8, and Tyler versus Viper. The road doesn't even end with a victory for these players. Because they're in that lower bracket match, they do have to win twice today in order to make it to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and so far, they've only had to play once during the day unless you were able to make it out of the group, in which case you're rewarded with some rest. Here, you're going to be playing potentially back-to-back matches, and then when you have to go through to tomorrow, can you be mentally ready for it in the exhaustion that ensues amongst these grueling matches that are going to take place?
That's right. Taking a look at some of the headlines going into day number 3 of the action. Spellbound, Mage dominates day 2 at 6-1 and moves to 10-3 overall. We touched on this a little bit in the post-show yesterday, but Mage, I think, was the most underrated class going in. And because the players had to submit so long ago, they submitted Wednesday last week.
Yeah.
So over a week ago. The meta has already changed, and Mage is already evolving in the ladder environment.
Well, that's exactly what you see when new sets come out. You know, we're talking they're 8 days into the expansion amongst a rotation when they had to figure out 4 decks and a conquest strategy to boot at that. They're not working on a single deck. They're working on 4 decks, plus what they anticipate from opponents. Mage, I think, has been the class that I've seen most rapidly move throughout its list. Even just this morning, looking at lists on Twitter and how crazy the Mage lists are looking and how strong that class is shaping up to be, it's not a surprise that it has a dominant performance here, and this is with the old styles of it, which I don't think are going to be the staples moving forward.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about Mage is that it's flexible.
Yeah.
You can make a lot of tech conclusions that can make it better against control, make it better against aggro, and I think that's why we're seeing it have a lot of success. And speaking of strategies, Rogue 10-14, which is not surprising when you consider the two, or probably the main strategy coming into this tournament was to target Rogue. And even though it is pretty much the best class in the metagame, I don't think anybody can really dispute that. It still has a pretty low win rate compared to a lot of the other classes in the tournament.
I think one of the big things to look at is just the variation amongst the rogue builds that are here. I think if you want to highlight the ones that include Deadly Poison and includes Myricin Stable Element, those are performing a bit better because they intend to be killing you as fast as possible, and they're banning warrior strategies themselves.
Yeah.
For the rogues that are running Togwaggle and anticipating not banning warrior because the rest of their lineup is built differently, that rogue matchup against warrior becomes a much tougher game than the rest of it will be if you just take warrior out of the equation. So your 2 big strategies were either target the rogue or ban out the rogue. And so far it looks like banning out the rogue might not have been the right call, but those lineups are working out very well when they're banning rogue as well.
Yeah, but still a lot of different types of lineups that we're going to see throughout the day today, which I think is one of the cooler things. And also a lot of unrefined lists. That's what we've come to expect now, is a lot of the lists just don't seem to be getting the job done. And that's what I'm looking forward to the most, is players making the best out of what could be some poor situations. But let's go ahead and take a look at the updated predictions as we move forward at essentially the halfway point as far as days go. Raven and Soddle both sitting at 2-0 with their picks, Bunny Hopper and Just Sayin'. And the rest of us, we're vying for elimination today.
Yeah, XiaoT's going to be playing up in the first match. I picked XiaoT for this one for one reason that really stuck out in my head, which was at the championship where he was knocked out in a fashion that was, clearly not up to what he expected of himself. He made it a point to come up to me with a translator and say, next time I'm back here, I'm going to win the whole thing.
The first match of day 3 is going to be hometown favorite Bloodtrail versus TGXiaoT.好的，欢迎我们2位选手。来，请我们陈太不要以及我们TGXiaoT慢慢请到我们的中间握个手 ，Please shake your hands and please take a seat。好的，我们2位选手都好好加油。那接下来就把我们画面交给主播赛评 ，Let's send it over to our casters.
Shaped it up and turned things around, and it wasn't a surprise to see him sitting in that seat come World Championship time.
Yeah, but Bloodtrail in this very stadium has a 100% win rate for tournaments. He won the All-Star event in December.
You mean overall macro tournaments?
Yes,
tournaments. In terms of tournaments won or lost.
Yes. This is his second one. The only other one he's played, he won the whole thing.
The Evil Genius created 2 of the Lackey cards, and the Scarab Egg was what fueled that Evil Genius, and it created 3 of the 1/1s. XiaoT lost a lot of board position in that one, but he didn't lose a lot of cards in that one.
Yeah, and a big thing to note is that's a prep gone. That's the only Fan of Knives gone and the only SI7 agent gone.
Yeah, so Bloodtrail's going to have a much harder time, I think, keeping up with board. The fact that he's got a Lackey that makes a 2-drop and a Lackey that deals 2 damage, those might have been the premier ones to get in this situation because the board is right back where it was last turn.
Yeah.
And Underbelly Fences, he needs to find a way to create a non-rogue class card in hand so that those Underbelly Fences can get activated. That is critical to him getting in this game right now.
Yeah.
Pretty nice pickup there.
Also, good positioning on the faces. I mean, that's not facetious at all. That's just...
It just sounds funny.
I know, but it is.
Oh, Direwolf Alpha picked up for XiaoT. That is massive. So now, the Argent Squires represent 2 health kills, which means XiaoT doesn't necessarily have to Soulfire this turn. You'd be Soulfiring a 1/1 in this situation, and that might not be worth it. You know, you still have future tempo plays to take into consideration. The real kicker here is that XiaoT just does not have a lot going on because Bloodtrail put so much on board. That's going to be the hard circumstance for him to handle.
Yeah, honestly, the fact that he doesn't have a good Soulfire target here works against him a little bit.
It really does.
Because the Direwolf Alpha pickup, like you said, means he trades over SI7 and Direwolf and then taps and...
Well, there's a potential...
Hopefully picks up a 1-drop?
I think there still is a potential that maybe you preserve one of the shields and push there with the Soulfire. Like, I could see Direwolf Alpha Soulfire one of the minions and then trade in the Direwolf and push the other 2 to face. I mean, I think that that's just not really getting the job done, and so play for future turns. The deck is so low to the ground in terms of cost for XiaoT that I think he can afford to hold his Soulfire for a bit. A Shadow Step picked up now, and Bloodtrail, you know, he's on the verge of having just a crazy amount of damage at this point as well with the Whackle pick, the Leroy, and the Shadow Step.
Yeah.
So now we could be in a race situation here if Bloodtrail wants to initiate that.
So if he plays the Waggle pick and hits face, he hits face for 6, brings him down to 19. Next turn,
oh boy.
Next turn he plays Waggle pick. Oh, okay.
I thought when he did that first attack that he was actually just going to go in, but this to me makes the most sense, where it's just take care of the board position and then just play some minions.
I mean, he had lethal over 3 turns.
Yes, but he has to fend off, you know, something nonsensical and crazy happening as well. I think it's stronger for him to do it this way and lock out potential. But now this opens XiaoT to have one of those turns where he gets to Soulfire, but he's not really playing much else aside of that. It's 2 minions and go.
Well, Bloodtrail has expended a lot of resources with Leroy in hand. He has essentially a dead card in a lot of scenarios if he's not the aggressor. XiaoT has access to that life tap, and Bloodtrail doesn't have a fantastic way to draw cards.
There's a couple big hits in this deck right now. You know, High Spirit Togwaggle, that Lackey's going to stick to board. Evil Miscreant would be a fantastic draw for Bloodtrail at this point. Blink Fox would be a great draw. Raiding Party's a great draw. There's just so many of the cards are so good.
Yeah.
There's a number of them that aren't so good, like Vendetta or, you know, I was going to say Dread Corsair, but he's got a Waggle pick in hand already.
Preps are not great.
Preps are pretty
Honestly,
poor right now.
Eviscerate isn't that great of a draw either because of how wide XiaoT is normally going to go. Now, he's out of resources too, but the fact that he has access to the life tap, his ability to find resources is much more consistent than Bloodtrail, who's reliant on finding Raiding Party, or some kind of resource generation.
Yeah, Soulfire here for health efficiency as well. You need your board to be able to contest. Oh boy. That's a card you want early on in the matchup, so that way when you have your go wide board position, what you get to do is you get to go wide and then prevent the Fan of Knives from being so brutal. And backstab here is going to be enough to, I think, buy Bloodtrail the board for the rest of the game. The Waggle pick gets in, the Acidic Swamp Ooze stays alive, the Underbelly Fence comes down, and XiaoT might be locked out of this one now. Solarium is the draw now for XiaoT. If he does not draw Solarium, I think he's in major trouble.
Sea Giant could be okay. because with the 3 minutes on the board, it would be active, so he could play it for 7 mana.
Just the damage.
Yeah, it's just way too much damage.
Oh, boy. Well, I think you got to play it, but I just don't think you're going to win this way. So now, actually, so this is kind of an interesting draw, at least, because what this means is if XiaoT doesn't die, he can get to a point where maybe you get a second Sea Giant and a Defender of Argus, and it is, you know, a massive long shot for something like that to happen, but there is a Defender of Argus in the deck.
Yeah.
You could play a weird role as a strange variation of Handlock if you get the perfect couple draws.
And Bloodtrail does not have access to any sap. No saps in the list, which means that if a Defender of Argus came down on the Sea Giant, it would force the trade from Bloodtrail.
Yeah, but I mean, Bloodtrail's 2 damage off lethal here. So XiaoT has to have either a lethal blow, which is impossible, or he has to have Defender of Argus. Those aren't them. And Bloodtrail's going to take a 1-0 lead. XiaoT had an excellent start, but the tech choice with the Fan of Knives pays off in spades.
Yep. With this Tempo Rogue, I mean, basically all it takes is one good turn to swing the game. Zoo just cannot reload.
Oh,
the second Sea Giant!
All of Bloodtrail's hand right now is requiring a wide board state. Every single card. And that's not going to happen. XiaoT now needs to really think about how this turn plays out. There are no Soulfires in Bloodtrail's Zoo Warlock deck, which means that Tundra Rhino is uncontestable unless Bloodtrail has just the goods next turn.
And Bloodtrail's hand right now to XiaoT is pretty much face up. There is not much that you're going to float 2 mana and just not play. I can't look at a single card in XiaoT in Bloodtrail's Zoo Warlock list and think, yeah, he just wouldn't play that with the mana floating. He's probably got a really hard read that this is some combination of Grim Rally, Sea Giant, and maybe Archvillain Rafam.
Yeah, I mean, Archvillain Rafam fits into the same category as those cards right now. Unplayable. Everything else in Bloodtrail's list, maybe Abusive Sergeant, wouldn't be played.
I honestly think you just play it to have something on board.
Maybe. Either way, they're not impact cards, and that's really the big story here.
Yep.
Free to tempo the Tundra Rhino, and now Bloodtrail's in trouble. So the question here is whether or not you play the Knife Juggler, and I think Bloodtrail needs to hang on to this because he has to have something drastic happen next turn if he's going to win. If he plays this Knife Juggler, it's gone to the wind.
I'm going to get punched in the face by Sato when I go backstage after this match, but I honestly think the best draw on his deck is Archvillain Rafam.
At this stage, it might very well be. I mean, it's looking bad. I take it back. It's Solarium. It's always Solarium.
Archvillain Rafam a close second.
XiaoT does need to think about this turn, though. You know, when your opponent plays a Scarabag and says go, you have to think about the implications of what can happen. And so since you know there's Sea Giants, you know there's Grim Rallies, you have to think about, you know, how that's going to interact with Evil Genius, how it's going to interact with Knife Juggler in that regard. I think it wise to clear off as much of the Scarabag stuff as you can and then look to keep that control until the Scavenging Hyena gets out of control.
Explosive shot picked up from the Shimmerfly. Not too impactful.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. All right, well, Magic Carpet is a start.
I mean, it takes another turn for this hand to do something, though.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way Bloodtrail can play these cards. I really don't.
So now he's got to rely on next turn drawing exactly Solarium off the top.
And now XiaoT. At this point in XiaoT's mind, he's got to wonder what is actually going on. And if you really dig deep into the logic, a hand like Bloodtrail's is almost exactly what you can come up with. And what that means is I think XiaoT is free to take either Unleash the Beast here and just put up more board stuff, or take the kill command and start digging for lethal. And with Tundra Rhino in play and uncontested, I think that the kill command has more merit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I take that back actually because there's a Tundra Rhino in play. The Unleash the Beast just has charge.
Well, Kill Command, you can play all the other beasts from your hand and follow that up with Kill Command. But I do also see the merits on Unleash the Beast because that's 5 immediate damage.
I forgot to set charge to the Tundra Rhino. That's clearly the option.
Well, just playing the beast from his hand is actually just more damage. Taking Kill Command and playing all the small beasts.
Oh, here we go.
It does activate Sea Giants, and if he has to read that Sea Giants are in their hand, then that means that he's Unleash the Beast is the better choice.
Yeah, so Bloodtrail here looks like 7 mana is going to get expended. Knife Juggler into Magic Carpet, into Mecharoo, into Abusive Sergeant. Hope for the best.
Put this apple on your head.
Maybe throw a Grim Rally once it's all said and done.
I don't know if you have any minions left when it's all said and done.
Well, you have the Mecharoo. The mech that comes out of the death
So
row.
you want this juggle to hit this hyena. Not that one. So now it's the Mecharoo trade-in to the Scavenging Hyena. That gives you a juggle. And that brings the juggle to the Tundra Rhino. Now, he does have the option to do something perhaps a bit unusual, which is attack the Abusive Sergeant into the Scavenging Hyena and then the Mecharoo into the 5/5, which would put 3 1-health targets on board to juggle. And you have to kill this Tundra Rhino. And Grim Rally has almost 0 effect.
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, looking at 8 points of damage for XiaoT. So how do you press and how do you not die? What can you die to?
Nothing. I mean, I think at this point, you just keep clearing up the board, and eventually Bloodtrail is going to life tap himself to death. You even have Zul'jin as a backup plan on turn 10.
I'm looking at if you want to just keep constricting board, the position that Bloodtrail set up here was actually perfect for the explosive shot that was randomly generated.
Well, just Vicious Scalehide Timberwolf allows him to clean up the board and drop the Witchwood Grizzly.
Yeah, getting the development here I think is superior.
Yeah.
The explosive shot in the center with the Vicious Scalehide would have allowed the 5/5 to attack face that turn instead. There's a little bit of merit there, but I think if you set up a strong enough board, that damage becomes irrelevant because you get it back next turn.
Yeah. All right, Ethereal into Demon Bolt.
Demon Bolt costs 6 right now.
No.
It costs 1 less for each minion you control.
Doesn't he have 3 minions on board?
He has 2 right now. He just blew one up.
He has 2. Yeah, you're right. Nothing in the works.
He had a lot of minions on board. It's very reasonable if that card comes down on turn 3 or 4.
Especially with what both players are trying to mulligan
Wow.
for. Oh, man.
Bloodtrail's hand is gasoline. Honestly, in this spot, I think Bloodtrail could reasonably forego the Flame Imp and have it for the Magic Carpet turn. The thing to really consider is how do you contest like a Knife Juggler coming down? That to me is one of the big questions. And so to me, Coin Scarabeg is reasonable, and I think Bloodsail Corsair is reasonable as well.
Yeah, Bloodsail Corsair means he has Abusive Sergeant to answer a Knife Juggler if it were to come down.
Wow. And so a Magic Carpet drawn for XiaoT now as well. And so the big one that's missing here is a second 1-cost minion. Or a 2-cost minion. You know, a Direwolf Alpha here would have been majorly punishing.
Yeah.
But that's would have been the reason that Bloodtrail didn't use the Flame Imp, is he doesn't want, you know, his 3/2 to get traded off by Direwolf Alpha. He'd rather have the 1/2 get traded off by it.
Yeah. Better for Magic Carpet.
I like the play. Fight for that board.
Yeah. Say, I want to have the best possible chance to stick a safe Magic Carpet.
Yeah.
And that means I need the strongest board possible to fight through that. And that's a buffed Mecharoo.
And talking about safe Magic Carpets, Bloodtrail's here is looking pretty darn safe. He does need to consider the implications of Soulfire and what it would cost him if he lost his Magic Carpet without you know, value other than just tempo and some card advantage. Because the card advantage, I think, is much more dictated in this matchup by what's in play than what's in hand.
Yeah.
And so the what's in hand is just simply how you get the what's in play. The number of cards, I think, to make that cost happen is not as relevant. So that's why he's thinking about the Magic Carpet here, I think, instead of just, you know, flying it out there as quickly as possible. Second Sea Giant drawn.
So this kind of makes me question the Sea Giant keep. yes, there is potential for it to come down very early on in the game. But if you think about how the matchup works, it's all about trimming off your opponent's board to make their Sea Giants less powerful and, of course, their Magic Carpets less powerful.
Yikes.
It's board combat all the way through. That's exactly what it is. And honestly, if you expect that to happen, just board combat for the first 4 or 5 turns, Sea Giant is not getting that much cheaper.
This is disgusting. XiaoT needs some major help. Bloodtrail might have this in the bag. I think if a 1-cost card gets picked up here, well, that's pretty good. I mean, gives you the Scarab Egg and Evil Genius turn.
Yeah.
I don't think Bloodtrail is interested in taking care of the Scarab Egg in this turn. I think his interest right now is, well, my Magic Carpet lived again, so build a board in Grim Rally. You know, if you think about Bloodtrail's position, he saw XiaoT keep that far left card. It hasn't been played yet. What could that be? I think when you really, really, really start to break it down, your head starts moving towards Sea Giant.
But is that something that's reasonable to play around? Because if he's playing Sea Giant, it means he's likely not dealing with your Magic Carpet.
Well, the play around for Sea Giant right now, I think, is figure out how to deal the most damage.
And dealing the most damage is creating the most minions because you have Grim Rally in hand.
Yeah, and so that to me is the like. Sometimes the play around doesn't mean avoid a circumstance. Sometimes the play around means punish a circumstance, and this is punishing that circumstance as well. Like XiaoT has to be terrified of this. Flame It drawn, so he gets to add a couple minions to board here and then play Sea Giant. And this is really, you know, why the Sea Giant keep, I think, is a thing, is because it can get you back in situations like this. The kicker is that Magic Carpet's on the other side. You know, the Magic Carpet's really the one minion, I think, that breaks that rule of where Sea Giant starts to reign supreme.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, this unchecked 4-attack Flame It on board, another one of those, Sea Giant's dealt with. And you gave up the ability to pressure the board early to keep the Sea Giant to try to get it online early.
So once again, I think XiaoT's in a position where, like, is that another Grim? Oh my gosh! That is a huge draw for Bloodtrail. I'm not even going to finish my point. I think the game might have just ended.
He gets to Evil Genius the Scarab Egg, play a Lackey, whichever's the best for the situation.
Well, the board gets full first. But he juggles are oh my gosh. I forgot about the juggles. So now you trade that minion. You're going to trade off the Flame Imp, I believe. That lets you play one of the Goblin Lackeys. That gives one of the 2/1s rush. It gets rush in itself. Sorry, the 2/2.
Yeah.
I mean, Bloodtrail's certainly playing Grim Rally's this turn. It's just a matter of how he's doing it. Yeah. That's GG, I think.
Yeah. There is no way. Sea Giant's going to be real cheap. That's the bonus. Yep, trade off as much of the board as possible here.
Done like dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. That worthy of the applause. That is about the most massive a turn you can have. Well, 2-1 Bloodtrail.
Just lethal staring at him. No way to activate Evil Genius and play a meaningful, play anything. Because you play Direwolf Alpha Evil Genius, you have no mana. XiaoT concedes.
The look on XiaoT's face as well, I think, tells it all.
So oftentimes Rogue uses the Waggle Pick and the weapon, at least initially, to try and clear off minions to secure their board. But I don't know if that damage is going to matter.
Wow. Those are the juice. Extra minion, extra spell.
To my side.
I think here you really need to consider what a trade looks like versus what face looks like. If you go face, you're vulnerable to backstab. Your opponent just got 2 lackeys. High chance you're going to kill that, but attacking into a 1-5 feels really awful. It's still alive. Why is it a 1-5? Raiding party gets drawn for XiaoT.
With preparation in hand.
Holy smokes, Tej. That is not good news if you're Bloodtrail.
So with 3 pirates already in hand, this is going to pick up South Sea Deckhand,
Dread Corsair,
and Wagglepick, which means he'll have Wagglepick into double Dread Corsair into Captain Greenskin to get the damage train rolling.
Big deal. His next turn is backstab, play a 4 attack weapon, and play 2 3/3 taunts with it. That's only like an Edwin Van Cleef and another preparation with like an Eviscerate or something.
Yeah. And because he has no combo cards in his hand right now, and because he already has drawn a significant amount of pirates, I'd like to see the prep raiding party come down this turn.
I could see...
Just to improve the average draw of his deck.
I agree and I disagree. I could see holding on to it just in case you draw Edwin Van Cleef.
That's a one-of. Maybe a second Evil Miscreant could be a viable choice, but because your strongest play turn 4, regardless of anything, I think even over Edwin, is Wagglepick double Dread Corsair. I think prepping raiding party right now is
I would,
substantially better.
I would tend to do it because you also, you know, the term deck thinning isn't really something I think is super relevant here, but it's just an added bonus to it where like now you draw Eviscerates more often, you draw Leroy more often. Like those are big deals.
All right.
Yeah.
Time to giddy up.
That's game. Bloodtrail is not winning from this position. He had no significant minion plays. He wasn't able to contest board efficiently. XiaoT is going to consider what it looks like if he adds a second Dread Corsair, just in case something weird happens. He also has it as a combo activator. At the end of the day, though, you look at it and you go, what are they going to do? Hit him in the face so that they die sooner. I think that the only way Bloodtrail gets back into this game is some sort of crazy Dire Frenzy shenanigans. Like, you need to draw that Lynx about 3 more times.
Like 3 times in a row, basically.
I'm not even kidding. What's the card I said? Eviscerate?
Yeah. How about some more gas?
I like gas.
Nine more damage to the face.
This is when Valir looks up at old Pirate Warrior and goes, look at me. Yeah, I have the Arcanite Reaper now.
Yeah, and there's 13 damage just from hand, and that doesn't even include the chance for South Sea Deckhand to potentially be bounced back. So if a minion sticks, dunzo. And that's game.
Game 5 coming up. XiaoT, quick work in this one with Rogue, but his Game 5 is back onto what he's struggled with so far this series. The Zoo Warlock deck.
What it feels like a lot of players have been struggling with over the course of the week.
Rogue looks easy sometimes.
Yeah. And this is, you know, one of the most lean decks that we've seen from Rogue. I mean, a lot of players are muddying up their list with burgle cards, with blink boxes, with henchclan burglars. But I don't think there's many scenarios where you're just going to say, I'm going to try and play around this card from the very beginning. You got to make reads. You got to have good technical play, maximize your damage, maximize your board.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what good deck building is about too. It's about avoiding having to make reads early and being able to just punish people with you know, some good ABC Hearthstone.
Yep.
When Zoo has, you know, the 2 major synergy cards like this, that's really what it is. And, you know, Evil Genius, I think, is more so what this deck plays around than just about anything else. Everything is built with Evil Genius in mind. The Magic Carpet is really, I think, the icing on the cake for a deck like this, where you happen to want to play all these 1-cost expendable minions, so that way you can activate these powerful sacrifice minion effects, and Magic Carpet goes, hey, wait a second, I can turn all these into removal as well.
Yeah. I think it's kind of the opposite, where you build the deck around Magic Carpet and then Grim Rally is just there because you play all this small good stuff that just synergizes super well. But that's the beauty of the deck.
TGXiaoT less interested in eliminating minions on board because of the Sea Giant in hand. He wants to make that struggle difficult for Bloodtrail.
Oh, man.
And it's going to be a struggle indeed.
Yeah. And we saw Bloodtrail take a long time in his turn last turn. He knew he wanted to coin either Animal Companion or Master's Call, and there's benefits to both. Animal Companion gave him a way to deal with Magic Carpet if it were to come down on turn 3. Whereas Master's Call got him closer to being able to go off with the combo of Unleash the Hounds, plus Scavenging Hyena, plus a potential Timberwolf.
Yeah.
So both those plays had merit, and I like the Animal Companion because Magic Carpet can lose you the game, and Master's Call, while it does get you closer, it doesn't guarantee that that happens.
Yeah, you're going to have to fight board. You have no tools to do that with right now, and you just have to make the most of it. So here for Bloodtrail, I think in theory, the win condition for me is a lucky deadly shot. I feel like that's what Bloodtrail has to do if he's going to win this game. And for TGXiaoT this turn, you would love to play that Kobold and whack away one of these minions to get this Sea Giant on board. But I think what you're going to end up doing instead is playing the Kobold and end up with the go face with it, play the Sea Giant, and then trade off on board.
Yeah, probably I'd say one Kobold.
I am apt to play both. You have Soulfires in deck, and you still have more Sea Giants in deck. Like I feel like you want to expend as much mana as possible. So are you looking at Direwolf Alpha instead? Like Kobold Direwolf Alpha?
No, that
doesn't work, does it?
I was thinking Kobold Lackey, one Kobold Lackey face, and Sea Giant.
You can hold them both, too. I don't mind holding them both because of the difficulty it presents.
Well, the Deadly Shot is what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
You know that Bloodtrail runs the one copy of Deadly Shot. In order to trade off the board, which I think you kind of have to trade into Leok, you're consolidating. And you don't really want to consolidate in that position.
Yeah.
His hand wants to.
This trade is unnecessary. Here, TGXiaoT is free to go face. This is just extra damage.
Yeah.
The Leok needs to be cleared for Unleash the Hounds. And Deadly Shot, if you're going to land it, it's 33%. Finds Unleash the Hounds, and...
Sure, but...
Not now.
At this point...
Not yet.
I'm pretty sure that you just have to rip the 1-3 Deadly Shot. I honestly think that's the best chance to win. Now, the other option is to just go for Master's Call, take the damage, pick up Timberwolf, pick up Scavenging Hyena, and then go for the big sports swing.
Yeah, honestly, and you could get Spring Paws in that a lot of times as well. So the Master's Call is interesting to me because can you isolate the Sea Giant by taking damage? TGXiaoT, taking 8's not comfortable, but there's not a lot of reach in the deck. We're looking at Soulfire, and there's no charge damage. Like, you have to stabilize board to do that. So if you Master's Call in this instance, leverage your life total, and then try to buy back the tempo in the following turn with a big Unleash the Hounds play, that might be better.
Quickly.
I don't know about that. This feels, at best, weak. And now the payoff for TGXiaoT hanging on to those Kobolds. You get to wipe out these 1/1s. Evil Genius refill.
Hit for 8.
Make it 10 if the abusive if you want to.
Yeah.
You also, I think there's some justification for just, slinging the Kobold's face. I don't think that's like unreasonable.
Yeah.
I just think it's wise to keep the board clean in this circumstance. You want your minions to live so that way you stay out of the range of Deadly Shot. That's the only card I think that TGXiaoT has to fear right now.
Yeah. The problem I have with the Unleashed play is I just don't think that's the win condition.
You're just back into the same spot now.
You're back into the same spot. You lost a crucial card to have the swing turns. Maybe the Sea Giant changes it. Maybe he feels like he never gets a big enough swing turn with Sea Giant on board, and he's hoping that TGXiaoT's hand is dead so he can get a better Deadly Shot next turn. That's what I'm thinking.
Evil Genius and the lackeys, they're just so good.
Almost out of time.
Inferno's probably the take here, but Spirit Bomb is going to be the nod to like a Misha roll or maybe a Scavenging Hyena being able to stick. 8 crashes in. I mean, in Bloodtrail, he's got an even worse chance to hit the Deadly Shot unless he plays the Hatchet. So he has to play the Hatchet, and then he has to play the Deadly Shot. Took 8 damage and expended a major defensive resource.
All right, 1-3.
For almost 0 benefit.
He's going to rip it.
You see TGXiaoT kind of look up to the skies like a big relief point.
Yeah.
And I think he knows this is it. I'm going to win. The defender of Argus, just extra damage immediately.
Yeah, I mean,
Direwolf, more damage immediately. And Bloodtrail's no counterplay. None in the deck.
pushing 12, and headsets are coming off. That's a concede.
TGXiaoT, 3-2, avoids getting swept on the Zoo Warlock, knocks Bloodtrail out of the tournament, and moves on to the decider match for the group.
The next match is the elimination match of Group B. Let's welcome the players to the stage. Let's welcome Languagehacker and Muzzy. Okay, gentlemen, please come to the center and please shake your hands. Okay, please take a seat. 好的，接下来就把画面交给我们的主播赛平。Let's send it over to our casters.
Several years now has been one of the points leaders. Now the second in points, but still made it through thanks to his teammate Just Sayin qualifying as well. Languagehacker, one of the seasonal champions. Both of them just hoping to stay alive here.
Right. And remember, a win here doesn't guarantee anything except a chance to stay alive. Not that useful, but helps him have some semblance of board presence.
Mutates.
Well, he doesn't have any damage spells.
He doesn't. It's going to come back, though.
But the Witch's Brew is really nice. Sorry, the Witch's Brew. The Witch's Apprentice is nice because it gives him 2 chances to get damage spells. No attack.
He doesn't want to expose the sneak to the ability for Muzzy to attack into it with Super Collider.
Right.
If he's going to Super Collide, he has to attack into Velen himself.
Muzzy has the heavy metal, and he's thinking about ways to dump his hand. Heavy metal has the best use now, because if he's going to take damage of his armor and his big fatigue plan, he's going to have less chances to get good heavy metal stuff. However, maybe in his mind, he doesn't want a 10-drop per se, because that gives him a risk of getting Hakar. And this is actually stuff that players really think about. If you see things like players don't play a faceless lackey when they're really far ahead on board, it's because they don't want to get Doomsayer. It's like things like that that really put them in corner case scenarios that they really want to avoid.
Ow. Yeah,
Clear.
And now we can see Blast Shield Heavy Metal.
He's avoiding it. And I totally understand his perspective, if that's what he's thinking.
I want to see another Stormbringer. 3-in-1 game. Let's go.
No, these are pretty weak.
Yeah.
But damage is damage. If he Eureka's, I mean, actually, Muzzy already knows there's a second Dink Master.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If Languagehacker is tracking into the 33rd turn, he should know that Muzzy's delivery drone hasn't placed on. What is happening? I don't understand Hearthstone anymore, Brian Kibler.
So this game is a Shaman versus a Warrior. Got a Tyrion, got a couple of Dormus, got a couple of Mechathuns. We're over an hour into this single game.
I am loving every second of it.
Here comes Takemaster.
Takemaster is out! But that means Mechathun is fair game.
Another Stormbringer. He's got Voltaic Burst as well.
What? This is a very long tornado.
If he plays the Henge Clan Sneak, he'll just get hit by the Super Collider.
Right.
There's no cards in his deck, though. This is all he has to work with. This plus whatever card comes off Henge Clan Sneak. That's it. Languagehacker's out.
So the Stormbringer has to carry home unless he gets another big spell off the Sneak. Wind Fury.
That doesn't do it.
I mean, that'll help cement his Stormbringer's position if a big minion survives a brawl.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he does have Voltaic Burst plus Stormbringer as really his last breath next turn.
But now Muzzy has a tempo advantage because no Stormu plus Super Collider, that might just end the game. Unless Languagehacker can turn it with the Voltaic Stormbringer. This is the big push from Muzzy.
3 fatigue, not even a dent.
This has to be.
Total.
This has to be a no Stormu.
All right.
It's so fitting that a long game is now going to be rushed towards its conclusion.
All right, speaking of rush, Voltaic Burst. Let's get 2-1-1 rush.
The last-ditch effort from Languagehacker.
Oh, that is the worst outcome! Speaking of fitting conclusions to a game, that was incredible. And like we said, that was game 1.
That was an amazing game of Hearthstone. And if you don't like that, you don't like Hearthstone. Narrative here from Muzzy. Life tap. Yeah, and Muzzy's been hand tracking, and he sees that Languagehacker's been holding on to like a card or two for a long time. So I think maybe one giant here is warranted, or is he going to play 2?
We're going to see. If he's Grim Rallying now, that means double giants happening. And oh dear, this is disaster for Muzzy. That is his entire big push.
It is what it is. And I think that's the right play, and I think Languagehacker just had the hack of this game, which is kind of what we're talking about, the importance of this of this card.
And really, just looking at how this all played out, this was very much about Mossy Horror. Obviously, Hack of this game is the card that's really putting the nail in the coffin, but it was the Mossy Horror that allowed Languagehacker to hold on to that Hagatha scheme.
Yep.
So we had this answer to this big board rather than having to answer a previous board to a board dying to Grim Rally.
Right. It's good deck building from Languagehacker to understand what he's exactly trying to do and how it's synergized together instead of just simply putting in AoEs for the sake of it. Muzz nodding, knowing that this is
and
not
the
a
walking
good position.
fountain is really the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, I think this is lights out here momentarily.
If only that Soulfire were an Archvillain were fun.
I mean, unironically, I think so. I think that in this case, Sea Giant isn't exactly that great against Shaman because they can have obviously a charged up Hackett scheme or Hex. I think, Shaman, as you saw in the previous game, has difficulties dealing with like one big drop at a time. Like Nose Dormu, the Boom Reaver, Mechathune.
I bring this up semi-jokingly because there's been some controversy on social media regarding some commentary surrounding Archvillain Rafan, but this is exactly the sort of matchup and sort of reason that players put that card in their deck. Players,
absolutely,
they know that their Zoo deck, if they go up against a heavy anti-aggro control deck, they're toast.
Yeah.
Most of their deck doesn't do anything. So a lot of players do choose to include Archvillain Rafan for exactly that reason when they are expecting to go up against heavy control as part of their hand strategy.
I mean, Muzzy would still most likely lose, but it's like this. In my opinion, this is like a 0% win chance.
Oh yeah.
But then like Rafan gives you what, like a 5 to 10% chance?
I mean,
maybe even higher.
He's now going to use like his entire hand to kill this walking fountain, putting Languagehacker to 30. Languagehacker has 6 cards.
Well, he just Shudder Walk.
All of which are good.
He can Shudder Walk kill the board. He can also just Thunderhead Hex. Hagatha to wrap it up. This is 100% in Languagehacker's favor. I don't expect Muzzy to make a comeback here, but by all means, still continue to play it out because as a professional player, you want to play even if you have a microcode.
It's true. Though after that, that hour plus game 1,
it's okay.
I could use some argument to preserving your mental energy. Right?
I could use some resolution after that climax. Solarium is like one of those cards where it could help me get back into it. But it'd be one of those things where you need like Despicable Dreadlord from Wild.
Yeah, you need to draw cards that aren't in your deck in order to have a chance to win this game. You could draw. I think if Muzzy put his entire deck in his hand right now and was immune to fatigue, he would lose.
Well, if he was immune, you're saying for that turn. If he was immune, he couldn't lose.
No, I think he would lose if he's immune to fatigue. I think that Languagehacker would be able to just eventually kill him with a walking fountain, the second one. Or just the stuff he got off of his Elysiana.
Oh, you're saying immune to fatigue? I just meant immune, period.
No. Yes, immune to fatigue. He's immune for the rest of the game.
All right, this is just lethal, right? No, never mind.
No.
He gained armor.
I mean, it is. It's lethal. He's playing Hagatha.
Sure. Good push, good effort from Muzzy. But it's time to scoop him up. Let's go to game number 3. Muzzy will see the next card drawn.
Oh, no, he's going to life tap. Don't you worry. He can Soulfire himself. He's got lethal.
It's true.
There it is. Finds it. Boom.
Hey.
That's the package right there. Soulfire and Microtech controller to your own face.
All right, game 2 in the books. Languagehacker equalizes it. Control Shaman.
Hard because he has to use the Grim Rally prior to the egg breaking in order to actually kill the hyena.
Right, and he can't kill off the hyena and the direwolf alpha.
Right.
I think that looks like to be the clean play.
I mean, that's got to die. If that hyena doesn't die, you die.
Well, when you say it like that, Kibler, can't really disagree.
Get in there and fight, maggot!
All right, there's the Grim Rally. Hyena goes down. Got a big board, but that's another big Unleash the Hounds for Languagehacker.
I'm actually... hold on. How much damage is this? No, it doesn't work that way. Because the Unleash the Hounds doesn't get the +1 buff all across the board.
Actually, he can't master... There's no more hyenas in his deck.
There's a Timberwolf.
There is a Timberwolf.
There's a Timberwolf. There's a Tundra Rhino.
But he still doesn't have lethal with Timberwolf Unleash. He only gets... He would only get 4 more guys.
And a Shimmerfly. I think that's his last card.
Right.
Oh, and a Direwolf Alpha. Timberwolf is a really nice pickup. I mean, Muzzy knows that there's like a Lynx in the hand.
Trading first here doesn't matter because he doesn't get he hasn't enough room to get all of them anyway.
Yeah.
And there go all of Muzzy's minions here,
Right.
and perhaps there goes Muzzy's hopes at doing one better, and as a result, the World Championship last year, because this is his last chance to win this match against Languagehacker. Second Evil Genius does not do it.
An egg here would be massive. Okay, this is still serviceable. Let's find out what the
Lackeys can do a lot.
You know, he's been offered Shriek a lot off of the Ethereal Lackeys. I think this would be a really good time for one.
Kobold Lackey and Goblin Lackey are both good here.
Yes.
Can use the Goblin Lackey, well...
Yeah, Goblin Lackey on the
Kobold
Evil Genius, and then Kobold Lackey to shut down the Direwolf Alpha.
Yeah, you Kobold Lackey the Direwolf. He still has the second Evil Genius, though. Does he need to? Yeah, he needs to play the second one, too.
I like the second.
More Lackeys.
And now Languagehacker has an uncontested Tundra Rhino.
He does.
That is extremely scary. And in fact, if I'm Languagehacker, I think that's just what you want to do in this.
Direwolf Alpha plus Thunder Rhino lets you hit for a lot here. Kill both your opponent's minions. Attack for 5, 6, 7. Yep.
This is a lot of damage. And now
is.
Languagehacker, he can push in. He can actually push damage in this spot if he really wanted to.
Yeah, he kills us and hits for 7.
I like it.
He's deciding whether he wants to have a Lynx in his in play or a
Timberwolf.
Hound.
I think Timberwolf is just a little bit better.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, you can play the Timberwolf now
Because it adds more damage.
Yeah, it actually lets it
after
hit for 9. Is that right?
Muzzy is running out of time, and you know we were busy thinking about the Shaman, but now Zoo Warlock on the ropes. Is there a faceless Lackey that can pull him out? Hunter can just close it out with the hero power.
Even Millhouse Manastorm is not enough. 4/4.
Well, he could Goblin Lackey the Millhouse Manastorm. I think that'd be great in this spot.
Yeah.
Solarium
can dig deep. Kobold Lackey plus a Soulfire can take out that
Magic Carpet.
Thunder Rhino.
Magic Carpet is actually
big.
exactly what he needs right here, right
Giant
now.
here. Crystallizer.
No!
Voidwalker. Not enough.
Faces Lackey needs something. Knife Juggler!
Oh, wow. Okay. He has 5 more 1-drops he can play here, or 4 to Sea Giant.
But he can't deal with the Tundra Rhino still. He needs to,
Well,
he can. He has Booster Sergeant and Goblin Lackey.
Yeah, he has Booster Sergeant Goblin Lackey, so he can Kobold. Abuse Sergeant on.
This is interesting. I'm wondering.
He's got to move too. All right.
Is he playing a trade in?
I think he is. I think he has to. All right. Well, suddenly, this game turned around so quickly with that Solarum. 7 life. I was gonna say 2. Oh God, he's dead. No.
Dude, he still has a Grim Rally opportunity here.
I think he played both Grim Rallies, didn't he?
Oh.
Zul'jin.
Zul'jin's too late, though. Mark Shot can just steal the game.
Zul'jin's not too late. Zul'jin casts Unleash repeatedly.
Well, I'm saying, if Mark Shot found Kill Command...
If Mark Shot finds Unleash here...
Or Unleash.
Unleash the Hounds!
And that is the game. That is the series. Languagehacker is going to eliminate Muzzy and move on to the deciding match of Group B.
And that match, from game number 1, it was back and forth the entire way. We saw some incredible Hearthstone, and we got 6 more matches today.
Yeah.
But this one belongs to Languagehacker.
That's right. He lives to fight on as he will continue his journey throughout the World Championship. And hats off to Muzzy for playing his heart out.
The next match is going to be the 3rd match of today, and this match is going to be the elimination of Group C. Ike is going to fight against A83650. Okay, gentlemen, please come to the center and please shake your hands. Good luck. Please take a seat. 接下来我们就把画面交给主播赛评. Let's hand it over to our casters.
And looking at the lineups, very, very interesting. Control Warriors are banned out. The Rogues are going to be played. Zoo is going to be played, which we can talk a lot about today, I think.
Really? Why is that?
We'll get to it. We've got time, Sol.
All right.
But then the big question marks, and I feel like the players have one each here. Token Druid and mid-range Shaman is about as good as it's going to get for AA.
Yeah, early to allow yourself to heal, and then you get those stags out to pay that off. You know, if that doesn't happen, you're sacrificing so much over just a regular Token Druid deck, which I even don't think is that high power level to begin with, that you get stuck in pretty similar situations to what you're looking at right now, where he had the Crystallizer, he's had the Tortoise, but without the heal cards to pay off, he's just continued to have clunky, awkward cards in his hand, like Crystal Stag and the Ornery Tortoise. Double Tortoise now.
I mean, do you think you might just have to bite the bullet here, or is it going to be too much of a loss if he just drops? Because I feel like now, 2 5-health minions is something he just needs regardless of health total. He can take the damage to a certain extent, and if he doesn't do that, I know you've got a soft spot for Tending Tauren.
I do.
I know it's one of your favorite cards of all time. But if he doesn't
slightly overstated, but proceed.
I feel if he didn't go for something big this turn, he's running out of time to do anything, actually. He has gone for the actual the Wrath for 1, or the Wrath spell, to be able to draw an additional card, but everything just looks like the Zoo deck should beat it in the following turn. There's the greetings, the thumbs up, the smile and the nod.
Hang on. There's just such universal regard for the Tortoise that it acknowledges an emo and a thumbs up from across the board. Did I miss a meeting where we all decided the Ornery Tortoise was the best card in the game?
Or I think it's more likely that the meeting decided it was the worst, and it was just a smile and a nod from both players saying, well, there's 5 damage.
It was legitimately just a thumbs up of thanks, saying, thank you for playing that terrible card in your deck. Yeah, that makes sense.
Here's a farm scheme being used, and the Grim Rally pickup is going to improve this even more.
And this is what I was talking about, right? Like, this is glory days, Zoo. Argent Squire kills a 4-drop and stays on the board.
Ouch. And that was one of my points, though, with it would have hurt, but just like the double Tortoise, you think, right, well, if they can kill 1, they can't kill 2, you know, almost all the time. We can see that he potentially could have based on what he wanted to do there, but still.
Can you say Tortoise for me again? I really like the way you say it.
Tortoise?
Yeah.
What?
It's genuine. Guy, you can't see this, but that's genuinely making me smile right now.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I like it. It makes a nice change for years of being laughed at for saying Shaman. Yeah. So, you know, Ike, I'm going to have to persuade you to keep playing Tortoise in your deck. Okay. This is what happens when we have a very long opening 2 matches and Sol and I are on match 3, sorry.
I'm just having a good time. Okay. Tell you who isn't having a good time right now. It's our boy at the top there.
Right.
Ike buried
deep in the tank trying to find his way out of this. His Crystal Stag, of course, not yet activated because of the lack of healing cards that he's picked up. And this is kind of what I mean when I say that this deck kind of requires some miracles sometimes.
Just have a quick look at the list. I can confirm that, nope, Spreading Plague did rotate.
Yes.
As that would be a game-breaking card right now.
Yeah, the 15 one-drop Zoo would not be much of a force in the metagame if Spreading Plague was still hanging around, more than likely.
Solarium to make it less likely to discard the second Soulfire. I like it. Oh, I like that more, though.
Pack it up. Ike, I think it's time to play the next game, my friend.
How much damage? Is this double Soulfire damage? It's not right. 10, 18. Oh,
yeah, it's 18.
Sorry,
it's 18 if Soulfire doesn't discard Soulfire.
Get in there and fight, maggot!
Gonna let it rip.
Ooh, okay.
Twice in 2 opportunities for double Soulfire lethal we've seen missed in this World Championship. Unlike last time, I don't think there was a way for A8 to find the guaranteed route instead.
Yeah, and also when the backup is, oh no, I'll play an 8-8 when I cannot die next turn.
No, Raven! Build the drama! Push the narrative!
Okay!
That flip was everything! A8 having lost that
it is not our job.
Soulfire out.
Doesn't matter. Okay. This was looking too much last turn. It's looking just as bad this turn, if not worse.
Yeah.
And that was the key. A8 had the not really common outcome of saying, I can go for lethal this turn, and if I just don't get it this turn, then I almost certainly get it the turn after.
Right.
And you know, it's the best of both worlds, whereas normally a one or the other decision has to be made, right?
Yep. So now Ike leaves, 9 damage on the board, puts himself at 10. So juggler lethals are there or thereabouts. Has 2 shots at it to put Ike out of his relative misery in this game 1. And it looks like with how quickly A8 is following up that attack, that after losing flip on the Soulfire, he does find his way there with a knife juggler. But all jokes aside, it really didn't matter what any of those rolls decided the outcome was. Turn that isn't necessarily there if you just leave the Acorn Bearer alive on board. But I think the upside of getting the uncontested Thunderhead in play is just dramatically outweighs the potential chance that your opponent maybe has Whispering Woods in their hand, and then you offset that with all the insane draws that your deck can give you to get yourself out of it.
Oh my.
And Sea Giant, chief amongst that as well, is the kind of X factor that we haven't even mentioned.
Honestly, I saw a Shaman list after submission and was like, what the heck is this? Right? I just looked at it.
Same.
I've not seen anything like it. There's seemingly random cards in here.
Yeah.
But when you start looking at Thunderhead interactions with Sea Giants and then Soul of the Murloc as well, and Reign of Toads, I'm like, wait a minute. I think he's got a deck.
And it wasn't just us. Bloodyface, when he came into our player interview, he started like not breaking down only his own lineup, but talking about a lot of the other lineups of the players in the tournament as well. So for a joke, we handed him one of our research packets and said, hey, start grading all the decks in this lineup. A8 was on top, alphabetical order. He gave this Shaman deck an F-.
Woo. I don't think I would have gone. I couldn't give it that grade based on it being so out there that I felt like there would be something I've missed.
Right.
You know, there's an interaction I'm not seeing, and frankly, similar to what's happening, we can see right in front of our eyes now. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do yet again. Because now A8 can do whatever he wants. He can't overload even if he wanted to, so he doesn't have overload cards. Next turn he can Reign of Toads, and then what? I don't. There's one, not enough board space for everything, but also just even if one Toad is spawned, that's enough for Ike to get through that A8 will just kill him in that time.
Yep.
It's insane.
And I've kind of got to wind back on what I said during Ike's opening. You know, he had a Crystallizer into the Dreamway, but that's still missing a piece of the ultimate combo that he needs. He didn't find the payoff for getting the healing package to work, which is his Crystal Stags. He just didn't get there.
Most importantly as well, didn't find the AoE wide buffs.
Right.
Which is super, super important. And he doesn't play the Twin Spell one.
Nope.
Which is a big deal.
Yeah, it was something that he actually does believe in with Token Druid. We've talked about how he makes some changes to this deck if given more time, but he pointed out one of the series yesterday where the player was just stuck with both copies of the original twin spell version of that spell in their hand, and just saying that's why I don't play that card. It's just way too clunky.
Yeah, as a completely non-Token Druid expert myself, I think I would go halfway between and play the one, because one card becoming two is just one extra draw for giving you a chance at drawing a buff, but not overload in terms of just having that many cards. But back in this game, it is just havoc, basically, for Ike going on here, because A8 can pretty much close his eyes and do whatever. Yes, oh no, Ike was on full health for a split second, but suddenly this is just looking too hot to handle.
I do like this philosophy from AA. He's in such serious control of this game that it's probably a fairly pointless debate, but I like where he's come down, where he's just sending the Sea Giant face every turn and using his other minions to trade, even though he could probably be going face with everything or trading with everything, and they're all just equally viable. First off, you don't want to send an 8/8 into a 1/1 because you'll give Admirable a heart attack backstage. We don't want any of that business. But I do like that he's just saying, you know what? Make the big noise, first and foremost, 8 to face, get that done, and then just for the sake of decency and responsibility, I'll make some trades afterwards.
Right. And again, I feel like we could talk about deck building just all day, every day during this tournament. It's extremely
It's one of the biggest talking points of the tournament. You can't avoid it. It's what this early metagame tournament really leads into.
And you've got to ask yourself, look at, and I'm going to be a bit extreme here as A8's just stomping through this game.
Yeah.
But this Life Weaver 3-drop that helps card generation. What if it was the, I think, Soup Vendor 3-drop that when healed for 3 or more draws a card?
Okay.
You know, you start to add like, well, there's a lack of card draw. Maybe that's a different card that you could use and test out. But these players did not have the time. They had like a week to decide on their World Championship lineup, truly testing and pushing them to the limit. The Underbelly Fence being played and a Vendetta.
And Ike is going to get some very, very bad news as he sees this Whispering Woods come down. And never mind the fan off the top. Ike, I'm so sorry. It does not appear to be your day, my friend.
I honestly do not know what I would prefer if I was sat in Ike's chair right now. The fan off the top or the Arcane Missiles off a Discover a spell.
Right.
Any spell that isn't Rogue.
I mean, if you were to offer Ike just the Arcane Missiles or the fan, he'd probably take the Arcane Missiles. It's the fact that it was going to be an Arcane Missiles plus an Underbelly Fence plus whatever
the
else.
Dagger Swing, which would have done the same job. Oh, here comes the Tortoise. I'm about to start trying to say it in really weird ways to make you get angry.
You already are, Raven. Don't worry about it.
Okay. And now just already, the Tortoise is just already dead, right? That's the problem. I talked about, well, if you get them out early enough or even coin them out, it's such a big minion that it shouldn't be out so early.
Yeah.
That it's going to be difficult to remove. That's part of the reason, along with the healing bonuses, that Ike's playing it. Well, Vendetta just laughs at it.
Right.
It's not even fun. 0 mana versus 3 mana, deal 5 to yourself.
Right.
He could even just throw the fence in to do the 1 damage if he really wants to save. No, and then just use the dagger on one of the squirrels if he really wanted to save health. That's how fine he is at this point. Is my point.
It's an accurate point, but a bizarre one to make.
I'm just trying to get across the point that A8 is very ahead.
Yes. On that, we can agree.
I didn't even see War Druid Lottie, which can be a rush. It can be a taunt. Both of these things help versus token decks.
Flash fails. Try crystal.
Speaking of crystals, Crystallizer into Crystal Power. It's going to be able to just chip off this Burglar, but as I said, there's just so much already for A8. And there's Lottie. Hovering. There's all the options. But I imagine it would be... Okay, went for the spell damage. I didn't even think about that one.
Yeah, I mean,
on
average, this does something very similar to throwing it in as a rush anyway, except if that happens...
A little bit scary. That was not what was supposed to be played. The Arcane Missiles were supposed to hit more than that.
Yes. There's no real need to panic just yet for A8. He is still, as you mentioned earlier, very much in control of the situation.
Was the 1 extra hit really that much better than the taunt? I don't know. This doesn't have taunts on.
I don't think taunt's too big of a deal. I guess it is.
Guards the 3 attacks.
Protects the 3/2s, yeah.
Because suddenly a Savage Roar now does a pretty reasonable job of being able to clear some of this up.
Right.
Because Ike, although we're talking about how much removal A8 has, A8's also edging towards just killing his opponent because Ike is only on 18 health right now. And there is the Savage Roar available. Again, 1 mana away though from Savage Roar plus something worthwhile.
And I believe having used his Crystal Power as damage, that stag is not active just yet. This has been the problem for Ike. We just haven't seen any of these power cards really coming out in their synergistic forms. Like, yeah, sure, it's a 4/4 rush at this point. But it's not the big power play that he's put it in his deck to achieve.
And I feel like we haven't really mentioned this on the desk yet because I'll be honest, the time has flown by. But this is an elimination match. You can see it on the screen, though, that the loser is out. It'll all get serious once we hit the Saturday, the 3rd day of the World Championship here. And Ike is just 1 step away from losing and being knocked out of this tournament.
Yeah, what I will say is that little catastrophe for A8 on the previous turn has opened up this window now where Ike finding a play off the top there, even though it was a mediocre one with the Crystal Stag, has put him in a position where he has just bridged that gap into his Forest Aid now. He's not necessarily being faced down with lethal as far as he can see. A8 does have the opportunity to just go down that lethal route anytime he wants because he has a Leroy that he could just be playing and shadow stepping back to his hand at any point. Well, that's a very scary thing to be doing against a token deck.
Mortal Strike. A8 has the capabilities to put Ike low enough. Even if Mortal Strike just hit for 4 anyway, it would be plenty as the extra damage. And because I think Ike just has to play Forest Aid. He has to. There's no way to win. He can't be defensive. He can't try and remove anything this turn. He has to play Forest Aid.
That's just it.
But that looks like the lethal to me. And A8, we turned up the speed of the day. A is going to go 3-0 and knock Ike out of the World Championship here off the back of this Token Druid. And he knew it wasn't his best deck. He knew the build wasn't really where he wanted it. And he has paid that price as A8 saves his life in this tournament and moves on.
And turn 8 Rogue strikes again.
Next match is going to be the last elimination match of Group D, and we're going to welcome Tyler and Viper. Please come to the center. Gentlemen, please come to the center and please shake your hands with each other and please be seated. 好的，接下来我们就把画面交给主播赛评。Let's send it over to our casters.
Rogue, Warrior, and Warlock to this tournament. And there you can see the bans on your screen. The Rogue banned away from Tyler. That is the central focus of the lineup from Viper. That excludes Warrior from the build. And this was a big planning point for Viper and Bunny Hopper when they came into this tournament. You can see Tyler banning away the mid-range Hunter. It's kind of a strange-looking ban given what's going on, but because Viper has brought Miracle Rogue rather than the typical rogues that we're seeing throughout the tournament, the aggression factor, I think, is really what he's concerned with. And boom, here it is just a grit your teeth and bear situation. And so the amount of time that Tyler's taking in this situation, and I think the non-attack is actually beneficial for Tyler in this spot. And he may actually be playing into the idea to Viper that he's in full panic mode right now. And so when he misses the attack, still trying to sell that idea, hey, I don't have Brawl, trying to squeeze every penny he can out of this massive AoE effect. But Viper is extremely versed in these situations. He was patient last turn with it. He does need to expend a card from hand this turn. But all things considered, Viper, again, probably just going to be trying to avoid catastrophe for the next turn or so.
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty big mind games moment right there.
Very rare.
Yeah, and the reason being is because Tyler probably thought to himself pretty early on in that turn, I'm playing Dr. Boom. And he's like, well, how can I get the most value out of Brawl? Maybe I just sell that I don't have it because that's what I did the previous turn as well. Ooh. And Viper...
It's a Conjurer's Calling.
Yeah. this is not a big resource. This is half of a spell that he's using to make a bigger board.
I'll tell you what, this secret that's set from Viper is really going to put some worry onto Tyler here, though. He does have to consider whether or not it's counterspell. He rips the Omega Assembly and sees that it is not, and you can see his immediate reaction when he sees it's not. He went, oh, I just wasted an Omega Assembly.
Well, to be honest, it's not a waste, because really the only mechs that do pretty much anything in this matchup are almost exactly Dynamatic sometimes and Omega Devastator all the time.
7-8 survives. And Tyler, from this position, is going to have to figure out how on earth he wins this game.
Yep.
It's going to take a lot of good fortune if Tyler's going to get there. Now, Dr. Boom is the kind of card that can create that good fortune, but you're looking at some pretty slim chances for this to happen. That being said, I don't think this is unexpected. I think this is one of the toughest matchups, if not the toughest, for sure, across the side from Tyler's Warrior deck. Sometimes you just get got. Yeah, take your pick.
I was just about to say, what do you even do? I'm pretty sure it's just Astromancer.
Yeah, I think that's extremely reasonable. You connect for 7 and you hear a power.
And you get an 8 drop, which is fantastic. 8 drops are some of the best in the pool.
Expend the Khadgar. Force him to have second brawl. Oh, no, he's expending the Khadgar in order to book a Spectres. So
he's going with Conjurer's Calling.
That's right.
This makes an even bigger board.
And the coin hero power to get away from 10 cards in hand. Tyler here has second brawl. I mean, there is a shred of hope for Tyler in this spot.
Oh, man.
I mean, there's a chance. And Shield Slam drawn.
Oh, he actually can put 2 minions into the pool as well.
Yeah, there's a real chance now.
Yeah, Shield Slam would require Weapons Project.
Well, it would require Weapons Project and some more armor. So he doesn't actually get to eliminate something unless he's able to, have 2 damage afterwards. The 2 damage comes from too much mana worth of stuff.
Yeah. What he needs to do, how many secrets has he been able to check for since the splitting image came down? Pretty much all of them at this point. All the ones that matter.
Well, I mean, he risked dying to explosive roots, but I just don't think he had an option. Tyler doesn't win the brawl, 7-8 wins. And I believe that wraps things.
Yeah, even Weapons Project means that he goes up to 9, but he gives his opponent a weapon as well, which means he dies. Game 1. Over to Viper.
And just an embarrassment of riches behind that as well. I mean, give Tyler. What does the extra damage cost me?
Oh, attack first, but okay.
Ooh, yeah.
2 damage. That's a lot. All right, let's keep going.
You see Viper wince a little bit to see the 5-2 pop up.
Yeah.
The 5-2 actually is, I think, pretty darn good for him right here. He doesn't know it. Warpath is certainly one of the cards he's thinking about. But given this specific context, the 5-2 threatens to be quite massive in this spot.
Yeah.
You're looking at a 2-drop that ended up making it to 5 power by you adding minions to board.
Now, this it does make it a lot weaker to Super Collider is another thing. So
I mean, that's true, but I mean, if Tyler plays Super Collider, it drops to 11. I don't think you could drop to 11. I think dropping to 11 is terrifying, and it's something I'm not going to do.
Well, I mean, he drops to 14.
Oh, you mean on the Knife Juggler, because the positioning. Oh, I'm stupid. Ignore me.
I mean, he could attack the 5-2 if you really wanted.
No, that's a bad idea. Ignore it.
But Super Collider is a great thing to have, because then you can set up for...
I like this better.
Yeah, doesn't use the coin. I think the coin expenditure is the big thing here.
I think in this matchup, Tyler has to be interested in coining Dr. Boom. Like, the extra 7 health you get is a pretty major benefit. And looking at Viper's deck list, there are 2 copies of Soulfire. Tyler needs to be mindful of those. And then the nuclear option with Arc, Villain, Rafam.
Yeah, there's also 12 copies of Leroy Jenkins once he plays Arch, Villain, Rafam.
Sometimes.
The light protects me.
Slam those Mecharoos. Make that brawl as tough as possible.
Yeah. Still got a Solarium in the chamber as well as a Soulfire.
I think Tyler's hoping that Argent Squire wins.
Maybe one of the Mecharoos.
Oh! So now, this is actually a pretty solid situation because Tyler gets to swing in this spot. He takes some damage on the backswing, but now you're looking at Dino-Matic being pretty clean on board because there's only the 1 mech left, which means it's going to focus fire down the rest of the minions that Viper's going to play, and it gives you options for Super Collider to be able to wipe out small minions next to the Argent Squire here. So if Viper has like insignificant additions on this turn, you get options open. Grim Rally drawn, second Grim Rally drawn. Direwolf Alpha drawn. That is a lot of extra damage. Wait, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's lethal! That's 12 damage exactly! Holy smokes!
That was just the perfect combination of cards to get from Solarium. And Tyler was coming in this matchup expecting to have a relatively easy time. But Viper, I mean, we've criticized Zoo a lot so far this tournament. But sometimes you just do that.
And Shadow Step is, that would be the second one, which again, this is another important tool to the deck. I don't think it's necessary to save, but I also don't think it's necessary to use.
I actually think with the second prep, or one of the preps used, the second Shadow Step does need to be held.
Okay.
I played a lot of this deck over the past week, and one thing that I always regretted was when I used between preps and Shadow Steps, 3 of them. Because the power potential with High Spear and Togwaggle is just crazy when you have 2 of those resources.
Tyler's thinking about how to get out of this situation. And the fact that Auctioneer is not in the immediate threatened again is terrifying in Tyler's spot. Viper so far has just attacked with impunity in terms of digging into the deck. You know, the attack angle from Viper isn't necessarily damage itself right now. It's just the threat of drawing through the deck and assembling combos.
Yeah,
Tyler's just had no way to stop this.
So with the Sludge Slurper, he actually does have a reasonable way to clear off the gadgets and Auctioneer.
Draw a card and give your minions +3 attack. That's
what?
It's I just, you know, look, I'm going to be honest. Tyler's chances to win are slim to none because of this Auctioneer living for just 1 turn. I think Tyler was hoping that something catastrophic would happen from the second Swamp Queen Hagatha, and maybe, just maybe, he'd have a way to make something happen.
So maybe he wants to combo Hagatha's Scheme with the Drustvar Horror to go for a full board swing?
I imagine that's the ideal situation.
But Hagatha's Scheme is only 2 damage right now.
There's a Voltaic Burst loaded on
in a Lightning Bolt. But that turn was effectively try and high roll the Drustvar Horror.
I mean, there's a chance that Tyler doesn't want to immediately kill things, you know, for a number of reasons. I just can't really think of what that is.
Brotherhood
I mean, he's just going to kill him.
Well, yeah, it's typically what happens when Auctioneer lives for 3 turns.
That's why the play from last turn kind of baffled me a little bit. You have to try and do something.
You wanted to risk being able to kill the Auctioneer via a Lackey generation?
Yeah, Sludge Slurper, if it had picked up the damage Lackey, the Rush Lackey, or even the Ethereal Lackey, had a good chance of killing it. So that's 3 out of 5.
Spell Lackey can find Zap, Beakered Lightning.
Yeah, pretty much anything. Like, even if you just find Lava Burst, you probably just do that. He had 9 mana, so he could have done it all. Well, not... No, because he would have had to spend 10 mana in order to activate Lava Burst. But there was a ton of stuff that did it. I mean, he realized probably also that he could take a significant amount of damage because he has the Witch's Brew and Walking Fountain to bring himself back up. But the problem is that's just dealing with the board. The draw is what really gets me.
I think to me that the big key here is that the way that Tyler's going to win this game is if Viper just messes up. And that's not a good feeling to be in. Like that, I think that is honestly Tyler's best chance to win is Viper just straight up messing up.
So 15 plus 12, 20.
27.
Yeah, that's just the game, right? Leroy plus Shadow Step Leroy.
Indeed it
That's
is.
going to do it. Viper taking a 3-0 victory over Tyler, eliminating him from the World Championship and moving himself on to the decider match later today.
Tyler's going to be sent home, but by golly, has it been a year for him. 2 championship appearances, made it all the way here to the World Championship. It's been a heck of a run for Tyler, who's been awaiting this big championship moment for a long time, but it's going to have to wait another year for that to happen. Viper able to be victorious in very decisive fashion, and there you see the hug.
Okay, so the next match is the 5th match of today, and this match is going to be a decider match of Group A. Who is going to the next round? Let's welcome SNJing and TGXiaoT.好的，我们欢迎2位选手，请2位选手到我们中间握个手好吗？好，来中间请，来先礼后兵喽。好，2位请坐 ，Please take a seat。好的，紧接着我们比赛就要开始了，把画面交给主播赛评。Let's send it over to our casters.
We are halfway through Elimination Day. 4 players have survived and 4 players have been sent home. But now this is where the money is going to be made, Kibler. Top 8 spot on the line. We have 2 players from China in Group A going at it. XiaoT versus Jing.
Yeah, today is going to be brutal for all the players involved. These players have actually met before in this tournament. This is a rematch of our very first match of the entire tournament, where Jing was able to upset countryman XiaoT in a 3-0 sweep. So XiaoT is looking to reverse that fortune and hopefully take his victory and make his way through to the top 8.
That's right. We casted that series, and it was very one-sided where Jing was able to defeat XiaoT multiple times. XiaoT had his Tempo Rogue beaten twice, and then mid-range Hunter been taken out. And very similar bands across the board. They prepared for a no warrior strategy.
He can.
That's about it. Mark shot, what are you gonna get?
Unleash, 9 lives, and tracking. Only 8 cards in XiaoT's deck, but he doesn't need anything except for Zul'jin to really be able to swing this game around.
Yes, Zul'jin is big. Unleash the Beast, kill Command Shimmerfly. Oh man.
I feel like XiaoT wants to play just as defensively as possible here. Unleash the Beast is the pick.
It's a defensive play for sure.
Yeah.
I think he just plays everything that's cheap here.
Clear these off, take as little damage as possible.
Yeah, I don't think he's swinging another minion for the rest of the game. Jing on a draw to win the game if he picks up Leroy Jenkins. But he's got just as many Hunter cards that are useful that he does his rogue cards.
That's Dread Corsair. Jing now able to get XiaoT down very low, but not quite lethal.
Yeah.
I wonder.
If you're Jing, do you just go with what you have, like Starving Buzzard and Spider Bomb, and just like pressure?
I think you just get him, right? I mean, I feel like, do you just play, your Dread Corsair, then attack, because your Dread Corsair comes back costing 2, and just play all of those out?
I mean, the Dread Corsair prevents you from a backswing. What he doesn't know is that XiaoT tracked over his second kill command. So I think he's wondering, like, okay, is there any like shenanigans where I'm like opening myself up to a Unleash the Hounds and double kill command? I think the Dread Corsair helps him shut that possibility out. If he like went really wide on the board.
Blood and plunder.
Yeah, I think. Okay.
Get him.
Maybe scaring XiaoT with the Van Cleave.
What a motley crew this is.
Yeah, I guess the order didn't really matter. Oh boy.
It doesn't matter too much because of the sap in hand.
Yeah, but
so
okay.
I feel like from XiaoT's perspective, he's got to clear as much as he can.
Yes.
Especially with that Spider Bomb, right? The Spider Bomb in play makes the sap in hand not even something. Even though there's no sap in Jing's deck, there's a Spider Bomb on the board. So trying to defend yourself with Witchwood Grizzly, feels scary, right?
Right.
At the same time, what do you do?
So
Unleash the Beast.
He can clear the board with Unleash the Beast and Dire Frenzy. It's just that, well, one, you had to take damage, which is scary.
Right.
But he knows there's no sap in the Rogue deck.
He could kill command the bomb now and play the Dire Frenzy, or kill. Yeah, okay, he's doing this.
Right, and the spell could also save him too.
Deadly shot. Okay. Well, going down to 4.
If he plays a Grizzly, he's dead.
Yeah, he's gonna play the Grizzly.
Wow. And it's that extra card that Jing was able to just get.
Yep.
The sap gonna get over the hump. Remember, that sap is not organic through his deck list.
There's Leroy anyway.
Well, Leroy wouldn't have been able to finish the game here. That taunt was massive, and now XiaoT, 1 damage was all the difference maker in this position.
Yeah. And that was a very, very close game there. And XiaoT, he was digging for Zul'jin. He discovered a tracking. Zul'jin was the bottom 4 cards of his deck. Put Jing in a pretty awkward scenario against that specifically. Jing could also just play Dreamway into Landscaping into the Blessing of the Ancients he just drew.
Right.
Which may be stronger here, given the fact that, he gets the 2 3s with Lifesteal, very powerful. 3 3s. 3 3s are a lot more, a lot better than anything smaller because they let him have minions survive against the Magic Carpet. He's going to go with the Soul of the Forest play, though.
I like Soul of the Forest.
This does allow him to partition his mana better over the turns, too. Next turn could be Landscaping to double Blessing of the Ancients.
Right.
The question is, does he have... Ooh, Soulfire, not so hot here.
I mean, I'm looking at XiaoT's deck list. He has 2 Soulfires. Right now, but the Lifesteal, yeah, Lifesteal is what really complicates it.
That is a huge element of what's going on here, and killing those for XiaoT is not easy. He can use the Abusive Sergeant, trade a couple things into that, but he's leaving up the 2/2s.
Right.
And Soulfire, he is trading with just a token that kills a 2/2 or kills a 1/2 and leaves a 2/2.
So many
And not only is there the risk of just losing the board, there's the risk of dying. Savage Roar is a real threat here from Jing if he doesn't kill off actual minion numbers in the board, not just the sort of best minions in the form of the Lifestealers.
Get in there and fight.
Well, then he trades into the 2/2 with these minions and tries to restrict the board space as best as he can. I think he's going to just be relying on Magic Carpet.
Yep.
And ride this all the way home, if he can.
All right, the Carpet is there, trying to carry XiaoT. Landscaping, Landscaping Power Blessing
wow, that's
is
a big
here.
Draw.
That gives Jing 4 minions on board if he decides to go with the minion version, and I expect he will.
Yeah, he needed something cheap to be able to play to really get the full benefit of the Blessing of the Ancients here. Is Jing weighing the possibility of double buff, or is he perhaps thinking about trading first and then buffing? In this case, I think because you might be in a situation where top decking Savage Roar would be best, I think the wider the better. But you can't deal with the Magic Carpet, therefore developing big into the board or wide into the board might make you more vulnerable.
Right. I mean, he could just double Blessing here and save the Power of the Wild.
That's fair.
That gives him a bunch of 4/4s. Those are much harder to kill with the Magic Carpet. Whereas if he gets a bunch of 3/3s, those could be more easily picked apart.
He also could just try to go for value, like hero power down to 2/1 over time. And then like try to utilize Mana more efficiently over the course of 2 turns.
All right, we'll be double Blessing.
Oh, that's such a big board for right now.
That's a lot of minions, a lot of power on board for Jing. Heals up to 18. Second Magic Carpet.
I mean, that's a pretty sizable...
Yeah, but those are 4/4s. That Voidwalker, and that Voidwalker will die attacking anything.
Yes. And that's why the double buff here was really smart by Jing, because he recognizes the power of Magic Carpet. It's designed to really pick apart those kinds of board states. And now XiaoT's best thing to do is to not attack, I think, with this this Voidwalker and suicide it. And then Jing has a draw to win the game.
If he doesn't attack, he just roar through the Voidwalker.
I don't think that
he
much
dies
change.
anyway. I think Roar kills you anyway. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, yeah.
Yes, I mean, even Swipe ends the game here at this point.
He can use his Magic Carpet and the Voidwalker to kill a 4/4 to get it off the board.
Yeah, Jing actually has several ways to just lethal. As long as he just gets past his Voidwalker, he has 11 on the board, plus 3 from the Power of the Wild. That's 14.
He mostly just doesn't want to draw Whispering Woods.
Looks like he picks up the Forest
Aid. My God. Forest Aid fills his board. Power of the Wild buffs the entire board.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so XiaoT has to win next turn. And there's just no way.
It can't happen. There's no way.
He doesn't have Sea Giants. He uses Magic Carpets, no Evil Geniuses. He's going to be drawing Witchwood Imps. He's going to be drawing more 1-drops and maybe a Direwolf Alpha.
Trade this in, get the heal, then Power of the Wild buffing up the 2/2.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way at 20 life Jing could lose from this position.
No,
XiaoT is staring at his last turn in the 2019 World Championship.
Jing is taking his time, but this is all but over. And yeah, XiaoT, he's having none of it. Jing will advance to the top 8.
The match is going to be the decider match of Group B, and who can advance to next stage. Let's welcome Killinallday and Languagehacker. Okay, gentlemen, please come to the center and please shake your hands. Good luck, and please stay 60. OK， 我们比赛马上就要正式开始了，现在就把我们画面交给主播 CP。Let's send it to our casters.
It's going to be Killinallday versus Languagehacker here at the Hearthstone World Championship. I'm Raven, and joining me is Sottle, and we are ready to go. I'm excited for this one. All the matches have been kind of nutty today, whether they've been super fast and maybe one-sided, or whether they've just been sheer Hearthstone craziness.
Yeah, and the sheer Hearthstone craziness, or at least the marathon series, have seemed to be assigned to Dan and Kibler so far. They've had a lot of screen time as far as it goes today, but another man who has had a lot of screen time is Languagehacker, that you see right there, as he was involved in one of those series with an incredible Game 1 versus Muzzy, Shaman versus Warrior, all the way to Fatigue and beyond with the Elysianas, created by Madness flying off back and forth. This will be a very different series for him, though, because there isn't really that ultimate control deck for him to butt heads with some of his slowest decks. And in fact, one of his big control buster decks in Summoner Mage has still been respect banned out by
3 Warlock minion kills, unless it's going to hit Rafarm.
Yeah, and Bloodtrail Corsair was the 1-drop that Killinallday had in his hand, the sole 1-drop on turn 1, and he chose not to play it because obviously playing it into your opponent's turn 2 and then just equip a Headhunter's Hatchet and smack it would feel a little bit foolish.
Yep, and if you've been, you know, half listening, half watching this game up until now, might not be the most explosive start, things are about to get spicy. Because there's an Evil Genius, which we all know how powerful Lackeys are by now. There's the Grim Rally. And then in response, there is Unleashed Hyena as well.
But the Unleash just tickles this board state, honestly. It's really not getting there. If there's a Grim Rally that comes down this turn, which I'd kind of very much expect there to be, based on a past turn 4 from Languagehacker. Yep, exactly. I think Killinallday has the right read here. He looked at Languagehacker's previous turn and says, oh, you're doing nothing on turn 4? Then I'm going to put you on having Unleash the Hounds in hand, and I'm going to reduce my amount of minions on the board, go narrower and taller with the threats that I have, and just make you unleash this poor board anyway.
And again, you do have to rewind time, consider what the Springpaw has done versus what a Timberwolf would achieve.
Yeah, he does pick up the Direwolf here, does Languagehacker, which kind of bails him out just a little bit. It works out very much better than the Timberwolf would in this spot by leaving a slightly chunkier minion behind on board. But yeah, he was looking very desperate in that situation.
But even now you could see it where if, you know, obviously we can't just reconstruct the game perfectly from a past decision changed. But Timberwolf, Unleash, and Hyena starts making very crazy things happen.
Yeah. Of course, if you want to give full justice to it, if the Springpaws weren't played, then there would be some additional Death Rattle minions in play that wouldn't have been traded open. The Grim Rally would have been bigger. There would have been more pressure applied. So they have served a purpose. But I'm still Team Timberwolf on that one.
Yeah. Now Languagehacker is finally getting to the point in the game where he has some, or at least a wider variety of decisions to make. Mainly because of Unleash the Beast is going to be just one big minion that's going to be able to have an active effect on the board on the turn he plays it, but it is just one minion still, which is the key problem I have with this card.
And here's one of the unique picks for Killinallday. The Hench Clan Hogsteed, not something we've been seeing a ton of in decks so far in this tournament, but Killinallday was really happy with it when we talked to him in our interviews. He said it was a really, really strong inclusion, happy that he brought it. Thought it could be potentially game-winning in a number of spots, and it's a really nice pickup there off the tap just to take out that Direwolf Alpha, allow him to push full damage, maximize pressure on the opponent. Languagehacker is not looking too rosy.
Yep, and you can see the problem already. Yes, there's Unleash. Yes, there's Hyena, Tundra Rhino, even this Unleash the Beast, which... unfortunately not friend. That one cannot go face.
His hunter instincts just got the better of him for a second.
Just go with that instead of Unleash into Hyena, just in case Unleash into Hyena does something else. But you know what does something pretty good too? Leroy Jenkins.
Kobold Lackey.
So his cousin, I guess, doing the extra bit of damage needed and Killinallday. Quite frankly, Sol takes a very straightforward win with that Zoo deck.
Things might come into play for Languagehacker because he's kind of committed to ending the game now. Yeah, exactly. I love this timing from Languagehacker because on the previous turn, by committing that second Tundra Rhino, he's kind of said, all right, I'm all in now. I'm going to kill you before you stabilize from this point onwards. Tracking is a card that can help him do this. I think he should trust his first instincts there. I like the trackings.
Either way, I hope a secret comes down this turn. Because now you want to start making Killin's turns as awkward as possible, and having to consider Freezing Trap is very awkward.
So he's going to go Cybertech Secret Plan? Wow. Is that the plan? No, he's going to force the damage through as well. Interesting.
Well, if he Secret Planned, he couldn't do the secret anyway, right? With Cybertech?
Yeah, he just would skip Hero Power. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he just couldn't play the secret.
Yeah. You'd at least generate the secret, you wouldn't play it.
Oh, do you think he's okay, honestly, do you think he's ever worried about tracking over the bombs?
Yeah.
It's got to be in your mind.
I have the least respect for bombs being in my deck than any other human being on the planet right now. So I might not be the right person to ask that question, but I honestly have not let bombs panic me in any game of Hearthstone that I've played so far, and it's worked out just fine for me in the matchup.
Were you playing Elysiana decks?
No.
It's because I wiped them from the deck.
How long have you known me for? You think I'm playing Elysiana?
Here come the boom bots. Quick nod from Languagehacker going, okay, 1. Okay, 4. And Pitt talking to an admin. I guess we'll get a pause if there's a problem.
Through lip reading, he said, the sound cut out, but it's fine now. So I think we're good.
Wow, Sol showing off talents I actually didn't know he had, and now I'm a little bit worried about talking about him behind his back. If he turns around, he can read my lips. Okay, so that turn would have happened regardless. It looks like Languagehacker is fine. The game would have been paused if there was a dramatic and serious problem. Now, for a second now, I was like, okay, so Security Rover rushes to create a taunt. Wait, he isn't the warrior.
Languagehacker is going to go for the tracking now. He has double unleash with Timberwolf already, which gets him very close. Hang on. 3, 6, 7, 8. He's 1 mana off lethal with the second Timberwolf, I believe. Yep.
And that's one way to get rid of bombs.
Sure is. Unless you really want to assert dominance. Just smack, far right, boom, take the bomb.
And then just hold it.
Yeah.
Then play it the turn you have lethal.
Yeah. Tracker number 2. Animal Companion is damaged, potentially.
Roll the Animal Comp.
But Hench Clan Hogsteed is a huge boy.
Animal Comp's lethal if you're good at it. Oh. Misdirection.
Misdirection, yeah.
Could get spicy.
Ping face, misdirect.
Enjoy your decisions.
Killinallday needs to do a whole world of things right now because that double unleash plus double Timberwolf plus hero power combo that Languagehacker was 1 mana off on the previous turn is now locked and loaded and ready to go, and there's no blast shield on the side of Killinallday.
Most importantly, there is a Discover mech though, which is second best right now, and that does not look like a Ziliax to me, which was the best Discover off the top of my head. Must be right. Healing.
Little 2/2 armor puppy. I don't know the name of.
Armor pup.
Yep. That thing can get the job done too. If you get both of them, throw some bones in there. You got a stew going.
Feel like that's a reference to something I don't know.
It sure is.
Oh. And now the decision from Killinallday.
Do it!
Oh.
How could you... Look, you could... Killing, let's be real here. You're going to die. How could you...
Wait. He should play a minion first, right?
Surely you want to know what's in the box. How can you let this game end without knowing what's in the box?
Play a minion first. Oh, he doesn't want to. So he doesn't want to play into Unleash. Not that it matters. The 2 damage from Languagehacker. It's hero power plus a pair of little doggos for the third slightly bigger doggo is going to end this game. And Languagehacker takes the win versus the Warrior, and it's one of the more impressive games of Hunter I've seen, to be completely honest, Sol.
And that's the matchup.
Yeah,
that's what I said to you right away, right? Like, that's the matchup they've been looking for the whole time, but you still have to evaluate the rationale where people have said, well, you know, why aren't you just bringing Roger's Hunter deck? Why aren't you just bringing Mech Hunter? 0 mana Ziliax in hand, though. I did wonder about that Shadow Step usage, just how greedy he felt like he had to be, because Shadow Step on Ziliax might just be very much to his benefit in this scenario.
Again. I feel like he has to start going for some kind of, like, push this turn. I think he can spend... Yeah, there you go. I think he can spend 1 crown. He's just seen the warpath to help play.
2 1s, switch to crowns.
Oh. Wait. Wait.
The pleasure is
Wait. Wait, Nami, yeah.
Raven activated Operation Brain Shutdown.
Yeah, I was like, is Hakar good because he can shuffle more cards in and Killing can't?
Don't think so.
But they're also 2 really hard-hitting minions, so Killing has to clear the board.
Yeah.
Or take a lot of damage.
Yeah.
If he clears the board, then Languagehacker can kind of play around the bloods.
Sure.
And the bombs.
He's at 13, though. I don't want to be in a world where there's bombs and bloods in my deck at 13. particularly when I'm almost certainly locked to 1 Ziliax for the remainder of this game.
Yeah. Imagine if he had Shadow Step for Chef Nomi.
I mean...
I just mean he could go to 0, play it, and then just shuffle all the espionage cards.
I mean, there's a possibility that if Languagehacker wins this game, he's depriving us of seeing Chef Nomi Priest this series. So at least he gave us the cameo.
Yeah, twice. Pretty hard turn, actually. His 6 health is huge.
Very hard.
I was thinking like Ziliax and the war game, maybe, you know, they're just something.
There's option number 1. Set your opponent to a multiple of 5 and shovel some bombs into the deck. It was something I was just about to approach. I got there very late. I think I got baited there. I think Killinallday's perhaps made the smart play here with the state of his hand. 5!
Count together! No.
5. I think Killen made the smart play there, and I think I was too slow to recognize it. I spent that whole turn in silence just evaluating different combinations of Dynamatic and Ziliax and so on clearing. I think Killen perhaps right in that scenario. Just say, you know what? 13 minus 3 is 10, and 10 is a multiple of 5. I'm in trouble this game. Let's giddy up.
I might just win. Yeah. And it was close. He got one. Got halfway there. But now, though, because the Ziliax is down, it means that Languagehacker can play his own Ziliax to push himself out of range.
Yes.
And also, obviously, the Academic Espionage is going to help a tad. Sprint's probably not going to get used, though, now, I don't think. I don't think there's any valid point as a bonus. It doesn't outweigh. There are no pros and cons, Sol.
Just cons.
You're going to +1 the Ziliax for every point of healing.
This is actually very, very clutch, because by making this heal for 4, he then outscales the Wrench Caliber by 1. The Wrench Caliber, even if Killen's able to remove this Ziliax without activating the healing, and then the Wrench Caliber connects with Face, Languagehacker then sits 1 above that multiple of 5, which is massively key in this situation.
To translate, nice.
To translate, 6 better than 5.
Cast like this all the time, so. and the best part here is there was the clean kill on the Ziliax without lifesteal, as you can see being played right now. Warpath at minimum does this and gets rid of Ziliax, which means that could, you know, let's have a look in a minute. We'll find out very soon, but that could have saved Languagehacker, at least for now.
Full clear. 5 Warpaths wasn't going to do it. 4 plus the 1 point of extra damage by summoning the 3 Microbots instead of the 5th Warpath does get him there. Languagehacker just wants any old garbage that costs 1. Just not bombs.
Oh, okay.
That'll do quite nicely.
Give me a quest.
Fan of Knives in hand, Sprint in hand. Both pretty dead cards in this scenario.
He needs to play Van Cleef, right? He needs to make a board big enough that Blastmaster Boom bots are unlikely to kill him.
Yes,
because that's
agree.
the next fear factor of, yes, he could draw bombs, he could also get killed by smaller bombs that are actually on the board.
Agreed.
And with how cheap his hand is, I think he just goes in. Chuck the Darius down, chuck the Cleef down, and let's go.
Oh!
Gunspire.
That is
Toggers.
A brave young man right there.
Oh.
Perfection. Gas for days now.
And a Gunspire. No more AoE for you, friend.
Oh, you're so right. Oh, that is huge. I couldn't even get the word
Sol
out.
can't even talk anymore. We broke him.
TJ was asking backstage earlier what cards actually got me hyped. Black Hole Gunspire, when your opponent has to throw random sources of damage at your board to live, that kind of gets me there.
Why didn't you play it? Why Darius?
Did he not have... I guess the man spare he could have played it instead of Darius. I think all things considered, having a 4/4 that can actually attack is still favorable.
Well, look at Languagehacker's face. That sums up, I think, everyone's feelings watching this game right now. If only the rusty bot had rush. Here we go.
Well, welcome to Goblin versus Gnomes, everyone. Remember these days? There's no Azadrakes to kill, but there is a nice, juicy face with 6 health.
Killing taking his time.
Killinallday needs a very low percentage outer.
The rush.
Smart stuff, eliminating the minion.
Oh!
That's not a face. This one has to connect face for there to be any chance. It does.
One more for good luck.
1 in 8.
Oh. Languagehacker fist bumps. He is not out of the woods yet. Let's see what he's drawing. It's a bomb. He gets him. Kills him with a bomb at last. Languagehacker cannot dodge it. And you have to go all the way back and consider the Gunspire being played to maybe 1/2 more health.
They deck that Killinallday is actually pretty comfortable playing against Rogue, I believe. Not necessarily this build of Rogue. More happy against the tempo version, the lackey version, the turn 8 Rogue, as I've been calling it throughout this tournament. But certainly, it's something that Rogue can struggle to deal with. Just too many big taunts come down too quickly for them to be able to achieve lethal with just a couple of saps in their deck, unless they're able to stick overwhelmingly powerful minions early. And their overwhelmingly powerful minions come in the form of things like Edwin Van Cleef and Questing Adventurer. And, well, Killinallday just has silence effects in his deck to deal with that.
Counterpoint.
Go on.
Betrayal.
That is a stellar counterpoint.
Get wrecked, Sol. It's pretty sick, actually, isn't it, when you think about it?
Fan of Knives Betrayal.
Even just a dagger poke on, to just kill one, and you've got lackeys as far as you can see most of the time on this board. There are a lot of removal with the Pyros, for example, but still,
boy.
Betrayal.
The Betrayal.
Betrayal's a good card right now. Don't laugh if you see it on ladder. It's got some merit. But also, what you give me breakdown. Manatide drawing a prep with sprint in hand looks pretty spicy in itself.
This is huge, by the way, for Languagehacker. The fact that his questing demanded the Lazul Scheme Topsy-Turvy combo from Killinallday means that his Gadgetzan Auctioneer turns now are so much weaker than they were. That combination, Auctioneer, Lazul Scheme, make your attack 0, Topsy-Turvy, flip your attack so it's your health and I kill you. That is the equivalent of the classic Miracle Rogue, Gadgetzan Auctioneer, prep, sap. I draw cards, I kill your minion, I gain tempo, I'm secure, and I'm further through my deck. All the things a combo deck wants to do. If you can force the Nomi Priest to do that without Auctioneer on the board, you are winning.
And now a clean kill there on the Cleric. Let's see what this card is. Mass Hysteria. The big problem now is 5-card hand, one of them's the coin. Guess what? Killing needs a Gadgetzan because there's one Cleric gone. There isn't much card draw in the deck without the engine. There is Acolyte of Pain and there's one more Cleric, but really it's that Gadgetzan.
You play both.
Oh, sorry, was that 2?
He played out both.
I'm too excited, I'm sorry. No, gone, finished. There are not a lot of cards in Killen's hand, and that's not the position you want to be with this Priest. And now Languagehacker getting that prep into the sprint is just absolutely where he wants to be with this deck. This is what Miracle Rogue wants to do. Prep sprint, the equivalent of a Gadgetzan turn. That's why throughout history of Rogue, those things have come in and out of popularity because they do such similar jobs. And Killen, honestly, I'm going to say if he doesn't draw Gadgetzan in the next couple of turns, he loses.
Just a handful of air.
Yeah,
just
that's
pure
literally going to be it. There's now Evil Miscreant. There's another sprint. There's Hearthstone Togwaggle. There's a Questing Adventurer.
There's about to be Questing Adventurers.
He has to play a Silence. One less card for Gadgetzan.
I honestly wonder there whether having drawn that Questing Adventurer off the Fan of Knives, obviously the original plan was prep Fan, drop the Miscreant. Having drawn the questing, was it ever worth diverting there? You can see that your opponent just is not answering your minions. You haven't really presented a big threat to him yet, but the Ziliax has been there chipping away for a couple of turns. And a questing down 1 turn earlier can represent 8 to 10 extra damage.
Very true. Hearthstone with prep in hand 2 is also pretty reasonable in itself.
He's suggesting he's just going to prep legendaries and go for the gusto.
I think he's just doing stuff.
Sure.
Hey, why not? Just kill him?
All right, prep legendaries it is.
Killinallday has done nothing and turn 6 has passed. Gadgetzan is not in hand.
Yeah.
Play the game, get him wrecked, and Undertaker might be the pick here to just beat him up. There's no Gadgetzan. What's your opponent going to do to this? I like it a lot, actually.
Fair enough.
He saves a question for refill if he really wants, but who cares? He has lackeys, he has the Togwaggle, and now with Shadow Step, he can do it all over again if a great Mass Hysteria comes down, number 2.
Yep.
What's the drop?
Yikes.
Doesn't matter, and I think that's just game.
I think Killinallday is just going to fall on his sword here. This incredibly risky meta read. The deck that was recommended to him in practice that was immediately dismissed, but then revisited and chosen to be the route through to the top 8 and beyond has failed him at the final hurdle. And it is going to be Languagehacker after that absolute absurdity of a series.
Next match is going to be the 7th match of today, and the match is going to be the decider match of Group C. Who is going to win this competition? Let's welcome Hunterace and A83650. Okay, gentlemen, please come to the stage of the center, okay? Okay, good luck to you. Please take a seat. 好，紧接着我们的活动马上就要开始了，把我们的画面交给主播赛评。Let's send it over to our casters.
Welcome back, everybody. The HCT World Championship. I'm TJ, joined by the Admiral. That's admirable. And it wouldn't be an esports competition without at least one awkward handshake.
No comment.
Okay.
I'll let you take that one. I'm not going to talk about it.
Fair enough.
I ignore you. And that makes it a lot less awkward.
It wouldn't be an esports competition without one awkward caster transition.
Amen to that, brother.
This is the battle of the Caspers, as both Hunterace and A83650 share a first name.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at it from a top-down perspective, it's pretty interesting because it means that Casper is definitely favored over Casper in this one, and Casper, I think, is a lot better than Casper is.
Yeah, and one other thing that I want to point out, which is not a storyline that we've been talking about very much, but I think it's very important. In the past 2 years, players with 5 numbers at the end of their name have a 100% win rate in World Championships.
It's a true story.
Always little time.
A8 doesn't have backstab, though. Doesn't have SI7 agent, and what that means is that an attack has to go through the Ziliax. So the Ziliax, without a draw that kills it, it's a lot more HP. That has to be an attack to kill it now.
Yeah, and the underbelly fence does deal with it. The problem is he has no mana to play anything but Raiding Party, and the problem with that is his Raiding Party is much less value. He's already drawn both Waggle picks.
This is a definite Waggle pick turn from A8 here. It's the Waggle pick. It's both Dread Corsairs. You smack the Ziliax with your Waggle pick. You attack face for 8. You set him to 10, and you got tons represented. It's going to deviate, though. I'm quite surprised by this. I think A8's reasoning here is that A, this is mana efficient, and that B, he doesn't want the Edwin Van Cleef to get bounced back to hand and be in a bad spot. If A8 had gone for that Waggle pick turn as well, much more vulnerable to Hagatha. That, I'm actually curious if A8 considered even, maybe Hagatha's off that far side. If it is, I want these Dread Corsairs for afterwards. That could be an active thought. I think that's unlikely, but I think it's possible.
I don't know if that one's likely. I think the one that could be likely is playing around the double ooze in Hunterace's deck. That is almost certainly a keep from Hunterace's side. He doesn't want this Edwin Van Cleef to be brought back to the hand.
Giggling Inventor, a little bit more checked when the backstab's there if the Waggle pick's online and you have Unleash the Beast in hand. I mean, this is a lot of attacks that A8 can develop this turn, but there's some stuff on his side to think about. You know, Hagatha's scheme, one of the first ones that comes to your mind. Mind Control, Lightning Storm is going to be on your mind there. a crazy Wild Pyromancer turn, A8 has to think about what the hand range from Hunterace feels like. And oftentimes it's going to feel like something where it is, expensive cards and situational cards. But that could just as easily, I think, be Hagatha's scheme instead.
Blood and blood.
All right, well, now's the turn to go in, and I just honestly don't think Hunterace has a way out of this.
I disagree. I think it takes a great deal of fortune, but I think it's possible.
What is the ultimate scenario?
Here, it's probably that you get a Witch's Brew from the Acidic Swamp Ooze, or it's the Giggling Inventor and hope your opponent doesn't have an extra attack activation. So both of those things are extremely unlikely. But Lightning Storm rolls high, Ooze does something, you have a chance. Giggling Inventor, he could also, could he snag Ancestral Healing here and block an attack? I don't think so, because A8 has access to 6 attack mechanisms. So Hunterace is beaten in this one, and it's an extreme long shot for him to win in that scenario. Edwin Van Cleef, just too much.
Yep.
Game 1 over to A8. I'd say not a super unexpected result, but certainly not the one that Hunterace was looking for. I think Hunterace, and I'm certain A8's thinking about Hagatha.
Oh, Stormbringer. Oh, my goodness.
Gets a lightning bolt with it as well.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my. Look at Hunterace's face. His eyes were open. So, we have Mind Control tech. We have Annoyatron. With the Giggling Inventors, there's still possibility Hunterace can get something done here. You know, all the steals on board right now are pretty good. The issue is that Hunterace is at 14. That's a problem.
I don't even know what's the best steal here. Illidan?
It's almost certainly Illidan. It's Ziliax. So is there any funny business now with the Ziliax?
He can Hex and trade?
You Hex the Illidan, right?
The Beast is the most attack. Your life total matters.
I want to kill the Beast, though. I want the 3/3.
Yeah, but are you going to do that?
Yeah. It's a true story. You have a Wild Pyromancer in hand, you have a Hagatha in hand. What do the two ones actually mean? I think you're right. I think it is Hex the Beast. Or Giggling Inventor. I think Giggling Inventor is a reasonable compromise as well. You have 5 attacks worth of taunts in the way. You have one of them refunding 3 health. It would take a disaster to die right now. It would take almost specifically, I think, Thunderhead Lightning Storm. But I don't even know if that works perfectly because the Illidan's going to generate first. So the Thunderhead would make a 2/1, put you at 5 spots on board.
Yeah.
And then the Thunderstorm, or the Lightning Storm rather, would put you at 6 minions on board, summon 1/1/1. So you would be able to get through, in that instance, 16 points of damage. So that actually would have been lethal. But there's only 1 copy of Lightning Storm in A8's deck.
And he doesn't have it in. The Thunderhead also makes it kind of weird because, again, none of these minions can die from trades. The Illidan happens first before the Thunderhead, I believe.
The Illidan will activate first because of order of operation.
So Hunterace got some time to spare here. But honestly, this wasn't even many resources from A8 to make this large of a board.
That's a true story, but I think for Hunterace, it's more about the time than it is about the resource battle. I think for Hunterace, it's about getting past that initial hump. And if you manage to do that, things are looking good for you.
Yeah.
The issue here is that A8 was patient. He didn't go overboard with this, and that's starting to put compounding pressure now back onto Hunterace. He has to make something happen this turn, and there's 2 taunts in the way. This is just a tough situation. My head moves towards Wild Pyromancer. What can happen with that?
So Wild Pyromancer, you trade the 2/1 into the Feral Spirit. You Hex the Nazari?
I'm thinking...
Then the Earthshock goes over the Beast?
Well, why would you silence that?
To get rid of 9 damage.
Well, put the mind control tech into it then.
Well, the mind control tech is going into the Illidan.
Is it? You have a Hagatha.
That's true.
I don't. That's what I mean. Like this is a really difficult puzzle to solve. Oh my. So Hagatha would allow him to use either the Earthshock or the Annoyatron to clear this off. What are you hoping to Earthshock then? That's 13 right there. 6 from Bloodlust. That'd be 19, just out of range. So Hunterace is going to hang on to the Earthshock for the Wild Pyromancer turn, I imagine.
The problem is he's just taking so much damage.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of damage. He needs help. It's there though. I mean, there are things that help. I'm looking at a Shutter Walk being a big deal. I'm looking at Walking Fountain being a big deal. Heck, even a Witch's Brew is a pretty big deal, I think.
Just to buy more time to get those other couple cards that you talked about. He only has 1 copy of Witch's Brew in the deck. And there are, I'd say, a substantial amount of dead draws.
Twilight Drake's definitely one of them.
Ancestral Healing.
Ancestral Healing I don't think is dead. I think Ancestral Healing could be good because the Wild Pyromancer gets an extra activation that way. Hagatha's Scheme,
that's dead.
Oh boy, this is tough. Oh, wow. Okay, so now a Hex onto Cairn. 1 damage to board. You Ancestral Healing the Pyromancer, another damage to board. You Earthshock the Nozari. That's another damage to board. That wipes out the Beast. Nozari's at 2 health. And you have a little bit of mana left. So the question is, can Acidic Swamp Ooze change that texture in a way that perhaps a different sequence happens?
I don't think you're getting better than a Hex.
Hunterace wants to see if there's a spell that can improve this. He's much less concerned with the body on board. Stormbringer's irrelevant. This is a tough situation. Hunterace wants to hang on to this Ancestral Healing to see if he can use that on just a big minion. So that's why he's going to go for the Earthshock here to wipe out the Beast. And then Ancestral Healing to try to buy the extra life total instead. So he's using that effectively as a heal for 3. Or an attempt at that at least. Or for 4, excuse me. And A8's certainly interested in making a push here.
Honestly, now the outs are becoming even more slim for Hunterace just because his life total is going to be even lower.
It's a true story, but he's got a Hagatha's Scheme cranking. So if he can manage to hang on for another turn, like maybe 1 more turn, he might get into the clear.
So Shutter Walk, Walking Fountain, Witch's Brew. Those are the 3 cards he's looking for.
Even a Giggling Inventor, I think, could be a reasonable pickup at this point.
Also, his own Ziliax.
Oh, that's right. That Ziliax was from the Mind Control deck steal.
He Mind Control tech that Ziliax. So
you know, even Lightning Storm is not that bad of a pickup because you have a Hagatha's Scheme sitting at 2. So a Lightning Storm, you know, it can make some fireworks happen. This is a big deal, though. Look at Hunterace. He is hoping for good fortune here.
I mean, at this point, Shutterwalk...
Rosari gets a heal.
Shutterwalk I don't even think is enough.
Swamp Queen Hagatha's not good.
Acidic Swamp Ooze into a high-rolled Lightning
You're
Storm.
going to have to brew up something with this Witch's Cauldron pot that Hagatha's brewing with. Because the cards right now are not good enough.
It looks like his only out is Lightning Storm and high roll every minion. And then Hagatha's Scheme. Fills up his 10 mana perfectly. If he doesn't get it, he could Stormbringer for the memes.
Earthshock. Not good.
He's dead. Not a single legendary that saves him. Can you think of one?
Not with a Hex in hand for A8.
From his perspective.
Oh. There's got to be some big dumb taunt that works, right?
Are there any big dumb taunt legendaries?
There's always some legendary that does what you want it to do.
Archvillain Rafam. That's a big dumb taunt.
Kaligos is not. 2-0 to A8 right now. And the deck that I've seen a lot of question marks about, that I've talked to a lot of players about to get an opinion on with this mid-range deck from A8 is now 3-0 in game score. And I'm like, this is nice and safe. I get an extra taunt from this. I'm not going to die in this spot. This might be better later on, but I'll tell you what, it's really good right now.
Blazing Invocation. With Wild Pyromancer and Ancestral Healing in hand, I'm inclined to hold on to that.
Absolutely.
Because that's just another board clear.
I must decide.
These provide 0-3 taunts on death. Good news for Hunterace. More health equals more time equals more win.
SNJing picked up, which is a great draw for A8 with how his hand is.
Yeah, and that can help fend off a Walking Fountain turn.
Yeah, but the problem is Hunterace has the answer. He's got Wild Pyromancer, Hex, Ancestral Healing, Blazing Invocation.
So many.
That deals with a board of even 3 health minions across the board plus a SNJing.
Yeah, and so for A8, he knows that time is running out, and I think that's largely because of the Ziliax.
Yeah.
And he's just going to go in as a result. I don't blame him. Ziliax changes the landscapes of so many of these aggro games, and when your opponent has Hagatha cranking, they have a boatload of gas at the top end.
Yeah. And honestly, by every criteria imaginable, this is a very good turn for A8. Unfortunately, it just feels like it's not enough.
This was the deck building process for Hunterace too. This was the situation he was trying to get to in these processes. It's have enough to get through the early game and then have a stranglehold afterwards. Looking at A8's Zoo Warlock deck, there's no Leroy in this one. 2 Soulfires, that's the only immediacy of damage aside from Lackey generation that he's going to have without board presence.
A path dimly lit.
Ooh, another Blazing Invocation.
Yeah, it's just you clear board, you clear board, you clear board. Eventually, they ran out of stuff. Yeah, that's step 1. He's going to leave the Taskmaster up.
I don't think it matters.
Well, that was taken awfully quick.
If he didn't have enough already.
Back-to-back carpets, I imagine that A8's pretty interested in playing those. And look at what the Discover provided for Hunterace.
Walking Fountain to do with 2 medium-sized things. Hagatha's Scheme to do with a lot of small things. Mind Control Tech to deal with 3 small things and 1 big thing. And Mossy Horror to just deal with everything else.
Upgrading the carpet? Ah.
Funnily enough, that's currently the only minion that does not... Oh no, it would die. The Mossy Horror. It had the Abusive Sergeant attack onto it.
Bye-bye board.
Yep.
Engaging TC-130 into dislocator.
Saw a look from A8. It's like, I guess I'll keep playing.
Yeah. Maybe he makes a mistake. Maybe he Stormbringer's 5 minions and gets all Baron Gibbons, and then I top deck double Soulfire.
Then again, maybe not.
Even that won't do it.
We're going to game number 4. Question mark I have about playing to a restrictive measure.
So the way I looked at it was basically just the damage breakpoint. Now, granted, it's going to be life tapping, but you put him down to 22, you push 8 the next turn, it's down to 14. That's 1 dagger up, and then Leroy Shadow Step Leroy is enough.
Just a 2-3. And once you committed to the restrictive measure, when do you turn back? You also have Shadow Step for the SI7 agent, which could provide 2 additional damage if you needed to turn sooner. What's the Leroy breakpoint look like? You could drop A8 to 16 just with your attacks.
Then you need 1 minion to connect.
You're adding a 2-3. You still got the dagger.
He's most likely going to tap. And from A8's side, he's got 4 damage showing. He's got Soulfire in hand, so Hunterace is effectively at 9.
Well, here we go. Dagger minions or dagger face. Looks like an easy call for Hunterace.
So this is a lethal setup. If A8 were to not deal with any of these minions, there's 10 damage showing, Leroy from hand, plus a dagger up, no Shadow Step necessary.
Oh, that's a bad draw right now.
Yeah.
That's going to be Soulfire food.
Put this apple on your head.
These tempo versus aggro matchups are tense.
When they mean this much, they certainly are. You know, when this is game 1 of the series, it's like, I feel like it's a lot less tense. But when you're talking match point versus the #1 points earner in the world for your tournament life. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
That's certainly.
So now Hunterace
not going to end up well.
Has guaranteed, unless this juggle
has to hit a minion here.
Has to hit a minion.
Doesn't hit a minion. Hunterace with the Leroy from hand, with the 5 on board, with the 1 from the dagger, sends it to game number 5. Only 1 slot there too, so you don't even have to worry about the juggler Leroy.
That could have been a big deal too.
I wasn't even thinking about
the
that.
Knife Juggler on the other side of the board, since you summon 2 minions for your opponent, it could snipe the Leroy Jenkins.
Oh, the Knife Juggler Saturday Night Taskmaster is kind of fun. The opposing one, that is.
You get a minion, you get a juggle. But is that the most efficient trade? I think it is, because you get to keep a 2-1 around with the...
Put this apple on your head.
that's super interesting.
Get in there and fight, maggot!
Well, it's not where A8 wants us to go right now. He wants to battle for board. This is twice now he's got a juggle that has changed the landscape.
One of the things is he's going to get a minion from this. If he doesn't trade in his Saturday Night Taskmaster and just plays Mekaru, Hunterace can go Rabble Bouncer into Mind Control Tech.
Oh my gosh, you're right. And so A8 wanted the highest chance to juggle a minion there and then trade into the one that was unopposed. He's going to go face.
Oh, he's thinking about it.
Oh my.
Rabble Bouncer plus Mind Control Tech is a massive swing.
This is a trade every time, and the reason why is to protect the juggler. That's a greedy attack, I think, from A8, because protecting the juggler can be a big difference here. Protecting the Knife Juggler can be a huge difference. Rabble Bouncer comes down for a single point of mana. Trade off the 0-3.
Mind control tech.
This could be massive.
I mean, it's massive no matter which way it goes.
And you kill the juggler, of course.
And with a dragon plus scale worm in hand, he even has a way to answer SNJing.
Indeed. I think Hunterace just took firm control and is now far and away in the lead of this game.
And SNJing, there's no way this turn to get it down to 1 mana, unfortunately.
Well, you have Magic Carpet and then SNJing.
1 mana away. From the juice.
With Magic Carpet, if you don't play the SNJing now, it's never coming down.
Yep. And Hunterace, very confident in his ability to win the late game.
So save the Magic Carpet, just play the SNJing. Get in a life tap while you can. You're going to need some more cards.
Yep. Now, Hunterace also has a different plan of Dragon Maw Scorcher isolate the board.
Oh, boy.
But now you kill the SNJing.
Look, your opponent just played an 8-8 and you could kill it. Just kill it.
Yeah. Don't listen to me.
Don't listen to TJ.
I'm dumb.
Somebody shut that TJ up. Yeah, and for Hunterace here, who cares about that opposing life total? You chip away at the board. Look at that hand of yours. Where on earth are you going to lose control of this right now?
A8 looks like he's about to lose his 3rd game in a row with Zoo Warlock. I can't think of a single scenario.
It's a bunch of knife juggler nonsense.
He has to outmuster Hunterace's deck, which is... honestly, it's built for the mid-game. Like, it just plays big stuff after big stuff.
There are some weird things that can happen, though. Well, you're going to quickly start to eliminate those weird things that can happen because Hunterace is about to have the turn. Wow. 4 7-drops incoming. If they were all Baron-Geddons, that would be bad, but they are not.
Archvillain Reform! It's
the irony! A8 concedes and Hunterace moves out of the group after going down 2 games to 0 and finds himself in the top 8 of the World Championship.
And more importantly, he wins the Battle of the Caspers.
The next match is going to be the last match of day 3, and the match is going to be the decider match of Group D. Who is going to be the winner? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone put your hands up and let's welcome our hometown favorite, Roger and Viper! And gentlemen, please come to the center of the stage. 来，我们到中间握个手。Please shake your hands. 再一次掌声给我们的罗杰加油一下。Please take a seat. 好的，我们最后一场比赛马上就要开始了。现在把我们的画面交给主播赛评。Let's send it over to our casters.
Welcome everyone to the concluding match of Elimination Day here at the 2019 Hearthstone World Championships. Frode and Brian Kibler here to close out day number 3. And what an interesting one it is, considering that hometown hero Roger is playing with all the hopes and dreams remaining for players in Taiwan.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear the roar in the crowd as Roger was announced and walked out into the stage there, but it is very clear who this hometown crowd is rooting for. And Roger's got his work cut out for him, though, because his entire lineup is built to beat Warriors. We saw how powerful it was in his match against Tyler in the opening day. We saw how it nearly dismantled Bloody Face yesterday. But Viper, he doesn't even have a Warrior deck. So the entire strategy that Roger has used to build his lineup is kind of thrown out the window here.
Yep, and you know, Roger has that very wacky lineup like you're talking about. He has Bomb Warrior, Summoner Mage, and Control Paladin remaining. Viper has that Miracle Rogue, Mid-Range Hunter, and Summoner Mage. And even just one. Roger was so greedy, he didn't put a single copy of Anti-Aggro.
It is pretty daunting to win this sort of matchup with as extreme a position that Roger has taken with his lineup.
Yeah.
And here, there's no way for Roger to kill this that isn't Ziliax.
Yeah,
Viper knows. No consecration. Nothing.
Whoa!
Is that Ziliax?
Yes, it is.
which is good, but the Ziliax is often pretty important to just have on your big stuff in order to, you know, stay alive later on. Granted, he's got to play it here, or else he's dying, right? I feel like he is in a position where he can't really play a minion. Well, actually, just sort of thinking this through, can he play an egg this turn, and then Ziliax the egg next turn?
I think you risk dying to kill
1, 2, 3,
command.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He would definitely die to kill command. Can he beat kill command? Anyway, if he Ziliaxes now,
I think he will survive. I don't know if he'll beat kill command, but he'll survive. He'll have 7 mana, up to 7 mana next turn.
Yeah.
He can revive Ziliax next turn.
One of the key things is that he does have that Lightforge Blessing in his hand. So any big thing that is able to stick, it kind of has the Ziliax effect. We see a shake of the head, sigh from Roger. You know, this is, yep, he's got to do it. Decides, all right, I have to take this out.
He does go back up to 17 life, take out the Tundra Rhino. Viper, I believe, only has 1 Tundra Rhino.
Yes, that is true. But Viper has 2 Scavenging Hyenas in his hand.
Yeah, the double Hyena is so scary. Not to mention that Viper gets 2 spells off these Shimmerflies. If he's able to get direct damage.
Yeah. And this does heal up Roger quite a bit.
It's not the best spell.
He's going to go ahead and fire off the Vicious Scale Hide, get 1 extra damage in from his attackers here.
Yeah, I like it, squeezing in every single bit.
And those are 2 angry hyenas. And again, Roger's defense is minions. If he plays minions, then Viper attacks little minions into them and kills them with his hyenas. If he doesn't play minions, well, he's dead.
I don't really see really good positions from here for Roger. I don't think there's a way he can get out easily. He has the best play is actually to coin Kangors, but it doesn't really
do anything. He coins Kangors.
I mean, he puts out a Ziliax.
Yeah, he gets a Ziliax, and the Ziliax kills a 1/1. Then 2 other 1/1s attack into it. Then those hyenas each gain 6 attack. Or it just gets deadly shotted.
Oh, the deadly shot, you're right.
Or mark shotted. Pick your poison. Okay. This is
18 damage showing.
You got nothing.
He has to. Oh no, he actually can just trade in with a deadly shot.
Yeah.
So this is actually lethal.
Yeah.
Wow. That's it. Viper's going to crush Roger game number 1 by turn 7. And this is quite possibly the premonition of what's going to be happening for the rest of the series here, because Roger was preparing for control matchups and Viper has mid-range decks.
Yeah, look at those hyenas go. Roger's Paladin just getting chewed up and spit out by the Hunter. Back into a Conjurer's Calling. In part, I think that, you know, Viper may just need to hope there isn't, you know, the big swing here. But there it is.
Man, here we go. You ready for some fireworks?
All right, well, what's in the box? Grave Horror, and Double Giant.
Rabble Bouncers will be really cheap, but Viper can't deal with all of these threats. And most importantly, he's going to have the attacker's initiative.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are 2 mind control techs here, to be fair.
Right,
so,
and there's also a Frost Nova.
Yeah, so Viper can play mind control tech, play double Rabble Bouncer for 0. Oh, no, you can't do that. Never mind. You have to play Rabble Bouncer. You have to play 1 Rabble Bouncer into mind control tech into Frost Nova.
Yes. And ideally steal, most likely the Mountain Giant, so we can get the good trade first. And then Roger on the back end.
I mean, he has Power of Creation, so he could reload his board. That Khaggar's not going anywhere.
Right. Or even just Conjurer's Calling again.
Although the Power of Creation doesn't do very much if your board is largely full.
I wonder.
I don't think Viper has much of a choice. He has to cast Frost Nova this turn.
Yeah. Otherwise, he'll be dead.
Right.
He'll be very, very dead. He could try to, like, double MC Tech. If he double MC Techs, it still doesn't work.
Yeah, I think that's still too dicey.
Right.
The Frost Nova was picked for this very reason.
The arena is full mind control tech. Takes a Grave Horror. Frost Nova will at least slow the bleeding.
Right. But now that mind control tech has revealed its head, Rogers picks up another Conjurer's Calling. It's a little overkill, honestly.
Yeah, that's not really what he's looking for here.
So I think if he Conjures Calling, he's maybe just trying to go for taunts. But he can't die on the back swing because he does have 8 life in the way, and I think that's not enough for Roger to deal, unless he mind control techs and steals the other Grave
MC
Horror.
Tech taking the other Grave Horror would still not allow for lethal. There'll be 15, 16 with hero power.
All right, he's going for it. Oh, Grave Horrors again.
All right.
And in a way, I wonder if that's not what Roger wanted, because that gives Viper more things to steal. That way it has taunt to stop the pressure.
Yeah, I mean, there's another Rabble Bounce that can come down now, plus a MC Tech. I mean, if Viper finds a Conjurer's Calling himself...
Oh, this is cute.
Oh, he's going to ping so he can Conjurer's Calling again to make one more guy.
Sure, just more taunts.
All right.
More big guys. Sure, why not? Chef Nomi Priest, eat your heart out.
Yeah, that's a board. Well...
Dude, I love Summoner Mage Mirrors. Wow.
There's some crazy nonsense that goes on.
Nonsense is very discreet. Mind control tech, by the way.
He's got to attack and then play the MC Tech. He's doing this, yeah.
It'd be hilarious if he stole the Khadgar from this position. It's like the one minion he doesn't want to take.
Engaging TC-130 into dislocator.
Well, we got walls and walls and walls here.
Yeah.
Oh, if he...
I think he was hoping for a splitting image.
Right. Well, it wouldn't trigger if his board is full.
I think he'll trade into Dragon Maw Scorcher if he found
yeah.
it. In this case, maybe a counterspell? He knows that there's another Conjurer's Calling.
Right.
Or Spellbender.
Spellbender doesn't work if his own board is full, though.
Oh, you're right. So is counterspell.
Yep. So now Roger's got to sniff out what this might be.
Yeah, everything looks pretty clean from here. Just the 7s lines up
right
pretty nicely. 7s across the board. And all of a sudden, this board tension is starting to release with Roger vastly in favor. No splitting image. It was good sequencing for Roger to play around that. Has to account for the secrets first as well. If he plays Messenger Raven, he's accounting for Mirror Entity. This is a test for Counterspell.
Yep. Or Spellbender is countered.
Yep.
If that actually had been Spellbender, would Khadgar give Viper a bunch of extra small minions? I don't actually know.
I'll have to double check. I've never had Spellbender put it to me because I don't really see Arcane Cuspis in the mirror, you know?
I don't know the answer to that.
Oh, wow.
I do know the answer to who is going to win this game, though, and the crowd sounds like they do, too, as...
Astromancer for one last Hail Mary attempt. Okay.
And there it is. Roger takes game 2. The crowd loves it. One of the ways this could go terribly wrong is just a bunch of bombs going to his deck.
Oh,
all right,
boy.
Giant, going to the face.
And now Roger knows
okay,
he has a
well,
50% chance to steal away the momentum. The crowd wants him to do it.
Yeah. I mean, this is the Gurubashi Arena right here. We saw all those Rastakhan's Rumble promos, the crowd going wild. And here it is. Who will win the brawl?
Kibler! 2 giants have left! And only 1 Elephant Boy survives!
Who wins in a fight? 2 giants or 1 amalgamate? No, it's not amalgamated. I forget his name. Augmented. He's literally right there. Augmented Boy. All right, and that was big. That was really big, and that was part of why I thought...
Oh my gosh. Wait, he has Blastmaster Boom. He's going to be able to win back tempo.
That was part of why I thought Viper might want to hold back, not just commit the second Giant, commit the Drake last turn, because by doing so, he puts himself in a position where he has the possibility to play Giant into calling if he draws it. Now he's that brawl obviously was huge, and Roger, he had a 50-50 in part because Viper chose to go face. If Viper had cleared off a minion, he improved the chances of one of his minions surviving brawl as well.
Right. He did, by going face, he did shut off things like Shield Slam being away for him to help get back on the board.
It's also worth noting that's the one brawl in Roger's deck.
Really?
There's only a single copy.
Oh my gosh.
So
this guy likes to play on the edge of his seat. And a water bottle in hand.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated.
What to do?
Are you hydration bot?
Viper, I'm trying to think about his best play here. His best play for tempo is the coin Astromancer. Astromancer has a 9-mana minion or 8-mana minion. Like at this point, it's his best power play to fight right back.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. Astromancer's coming out.
There's a lot of high-impact minions.
8-mana minion. Tyrion! Oh! And Roger just played Harrison Jones.
He just played Harrison.
You see a little laugh from Roger there.
Hey, I mean, I think it's tit for tat.
Wow. This game has all the swings back and forth.
Blastmaster Boom with 2 bombs?
There are 2 bombs in the deck.
So the Boom bots can make some pretty big impact here. Wait a second. If Roger plays Blastmaster Boom, Viper has lethal. If you attack with the 15 damage, Voodoo Doll and kill your own tune, you can swing with the Ashbringer.
He does.
And Roger knows this. So he's like, do I really have to play off curve? And if he does want to survive, yes.
What now?
You know when I was like, there's some pretty good minions at 8 mana?
Yeah.
That's one of the best ones.
He could have gotten Hyreek. Would have been a little bit worse.
Yeah. Just by a margin. I think, Roger, it's time for him to gut check here. Oh, yeah. He goes for it.
All right.
The crowd is silent. They're hoping Viper doesn't see it, but I don't think Viper is.
I think he does.
I think he's too good of a player to miss this.
15 damage on the board. He's looking.
Oh, he's not acting immediately, Kivler. I don't think he sees it. He doesn't see it.
He may not.
No, he sees it. He sees it. Come on. Come on, Viper.
Yeah.
Okay, so the idea is that Voodoo Doll. Okay, he's hovering
hovered over it, I think.
Oh, he gets it. All right, he knows.
Is it enemy minion? No.
It's any minion whatsoever.
I think he may be confirming this.
Oh, wait, is it enemy minion? You might be right. You're having me questioning it.
I think he is confirmed. No, you can. Yeah, you can choose any minion. Okay. And there it is.
Right. That mountain giant
makes his final sacrifice, and Ashbringer comes in despite the brawl going Roger's way and killing both of his giants. Viper takes game 3.
Problematic against rush minions.
Right, doesn't do that much.
Roger's very resilient against this.
Will Lackey walks the plank, both damaged.
It's just taunting him, the fact that all these minions are damaged. Headcrack and Cannon Barrage, very useless. I think Viper has only one legitimate choice in this situation. One thing he can do is Shadow Step this, play Van Cleef, Goblin Lackey again, have it rush and trade to Darius Crowley. Another Shadow Step.
Ooh. Preparation, too.
Prep is definitely an interesting one, especially if his opponent curves out to boom.
He has 2 Auctioneers in hand, so preparation has to be at least kind of exciting.
Yeah,
the preparation also sets up prep into Walk the Plank if a big thing comes down next turn. It's Big Van Cleef.
It's a Big Van Cleef. It's an 8/8. 10/10. Excuse me. I keep forgetting the Shadow Step minion played again.
Yeah. Now Roger was the one putting some pressure on. The pressure is on him. I think that's all of the rush minions, right? Both of the militia commanders. Yep, that's just a 1-2. Both the militia commanders have been played and drawn, or drawn at least.
This prep walk the plank is nutty. Are you serious?
Yeah. Backstab into prep walk the plank.
Dude, Viper's going to make a big push.
Coming in for 10.
Edwin Van Cleef. Okay.
Bomb goes off. That's actually good for Viper, because Blastmaster Boom is one of the best ways that Roger could try and get back into this game.
Well, he needs to take down this Auctioneer as well.
There's a slam. So now both Auctioneer and Van Cleef are must kills, and Roger can only kill one of them right now. He has Zilliax. He could try to, say, slam the Auctioneer or kill it with his militia commander, just play a Zilliax.
If he doesn't kill this Auctioneer, I think he's guaranteed dead. If he doesn't kill the Van Cleef, there's like this weird chance where he might be able to find some like Brawl or other removal tools. But again, because he has Shield Slam and not Execute, I really don't find that many ways for him to deal with this.
And we talked a little bit about how that opening hand from Viper could have been in multiple World Championship decks. Edwin Van Cleef has won every World Championship so far, and Roger is the last player standing in the way who can prevent that from being a absolute guarantee this year going into the top 8. It looks like Edwin himself may be defending that streak.
Roger has to make a decision very soon. Slam.
Finds Brawl.
Are you serious? Here we go.
Another huge Brawl for Roger.
The moment of truth. Oh, he kills the Van Cleef, but the Auctioneer survives. That's still really big.
Lives.
That's still really big.
Yeah.
Roger lives to fight on for at least another turn or two, but this is still going to be pretty strong.
Yeah, Lackey will get Shadow Steps drawn on their card. Questing Adventurer.
Oh, boy.
You thought Van Cleef was bad.
And it's going to start all over again.
As he's just going to Togwaggle scheme. Doesn't need the endless threat. Goblin Lackey, pump that up. Backstab, kill that Lackey. Get that Questing Adventurer going.
Jeez. The pressure is never ending. The Miracle Rogue. This is Viper's specialty deck.
You just brawled that board. This board is even worse for you, and you have no brawls left in your deck. Elysiana. This story deserves a new ending, not like this.
I think Roger might have to Omega Assembly here.
Yeah. Finds Spark Drill. Does that do anything?
It's removal tools.
He already has Militia Commander. He can't fit them both in. He does get a minion with Rush, right? That's a 6/6 Questing. So I think he can kill Questing with Spark Drill.
Spark Drill kill the Questing, but he's leaving up Auctioneer again. Yeah. But Viper's used a lot of his spells.
And there it is. Viper takes down Roger 3-1. And Taiwan will not have an opportunity to win back-to-back World Championships as Roger's eliminated.
Viper also sends home the final remaining player from Asia Pacific, making it China to be the only region left defending the East.
Yeah, and Viper, he had very strong results throughout the year. We heard him talk about how strong it was, how much he was happy about just making 2 championships. He'd add to that top 8 finish at the World Championship. And look at the other player from Group D, Bloodyface, another 2-time championship competitor in this past year, also in the top 8, Bunny Hopper.
Yes, the year of the 2018 players.
This is just an incredible show of consistency by players who had such incredible runs throughout HCT in the 2018-2019 season.
That's right. So Roger, Bloodtrail, and Tyler all eliminated. Asia Pacific is out. China has 2 players remaining in Jing and Yueying, but they face each other, which means only one of them go through. The rest of the spots all filled by Europe and Americas, and I think it's time that the West wants to seize it back. I think Tom's victory was great. It did a lot for this region and specifically for a lot of players that were inspired by him. But I think the West was like, it's time for us to win. I know America's wants it. I know Europe really wants it bad too.
Yeah, and we have now our top 8. We have it all figured out who we'll be seeing playing tomorrow, Championship Sunday. We're going to be crowning a new Hearthstone World Champion.
That's right.
Tomorrow.
It's exciting. I mean, 3 days in, and we have 8 players remaining. We're going to do all of that recap as well as review day number 3 when we come back. The post show with Frodan and Brian Kibler is coming up next.
Well met, friend. Ooh. Let's get this over with.
I win!
Oh, what an amazing game! Well played!
Here's to the winner.
Welcome everyone to the post show for day number 3. It's Frodan and Brian Kibler ready to recap and also preview what's coming tomorrow. So first things first, we had 8 matches, our marathon day, elimination day, 8 matches, 8 players that were able to continue to play, and of course 8 players that were sent home. What are some of the things standing out to you, Kibler?
I mean, I think, just the players who made it through are many of the most consistent players throughout the entire year. We were just touching on this a little bit before, but Viper just made it through, joining Bloodyface and Bunny Hopper, who are all of the players who appeared at 2 championships over the course of the year. All of them also made it through to the top of the World Championship. I don't think that's a coincidence. I'm also really excited to see Languagehacker play more. He had just some of my favorite games all day. He was playing against Muzzy in that game that we cast at the beginning of the day, and then again against Killinallday with just these incredibly tense, incredibly crazy games that I think, I want to see more of.
I think it's because his control shaman tends to lend itself to wacky scenarios due to the fact that he's relying on going to fatigue, which often requires Archivist Elysiana and shenanigans.
I know there are a lot of people who say, I'm not a big Archivist Elysiana fan. It makes things take so long. Well, for one, we haven't seen a single game yet go to you actually go way deep and it matters who has the most Elysianas or anything like that. But we have seen Elysiana create some crazy situations, and especially I love the Elysiana Hagatha games because you go super deep and just, what's in the box? I don't even know, and trying to figure out how to win with the Stormbringers and Voltaic Burst and all these bits and pieces of things is just so fun to me.
Yeah, that's right. So we start things off with Bloodtrail being sent home by XiaoT, and then XiaoT played against Jing. And that felt like a very tough bracket just to like swallow with the results, right? We had Bloodtrail, who is also one of the hometown favorites being here in Taiwan, but also XiaoT versus Jing, like 2 Chinese players going at it. And then the winner of that is going to play another Chinese member. That's all 3 members in China that are represented here. They're going to be playing against each other. It guarantees a Chinese player once again in the top 4 that Jason Zhou set for the past 2 years. But that also means that they're going to eliminate each other. I feel like that stings a little bit.
It does, but it does, like you said, it does mean that through the quarterfinals there will still be a player from China who is alive to potentially be the world champion. Perhaps doing one better than Titular Celestial, who was the finalist to Firebat in 2014.
We mentioned a little bit about Languagehacker and Muzzy. Let's talk a little about Ike's story. He's your teammate over on OmniSlash. What do you think went wrong for him and why he got crushed so badly today?
I feel like his Druid deck really just didn't come together. I know that he even felt like he would make changes to it. He posted right after the event, right after he got eliminated, he's like, this is what I wish I'd played. And it was a similar take on sort of hybrid style of heal and token Druid, but he wanted to add the Predatory Instincts package alongside the Stags as well as Witchwood Grizzly to give him sort of more game that's sort of naturally powerful. Because, I mean, we saw, the players kind of joke when he played that Order Retort and said all it did was get him killed faster against an aggro deck.
Yeah, it's basically trying to finish his friend quest a little bit quicker to get that 80 gold. Tyler, the points leader from Vietnam, he got destroyed by Viper very quickly, David and Goliath, and he just got absolutely manhandled. Do you think that's a lineup issue? Was there anything wrong with his play?
Well, I feel like, Tyler, he was hoping that he could win that and then go on to face Roger, and he felt like he'd actually misbanned in his first meeting with Roger, and I think he wanted to try and get redemption there.
Right.
But I do really feel like the lineup that Viper was playing was very strong against the slower control decks. We just saw it on display against Roger, and that was a lot of what Tyler's lineup was. He was playing the slow control warrior, and Viper's Rogue deck in particular just does such crazy things when you give it time.
Yep, absolutely. And then we talked about Jing and XiaoT. Languagehacker versus Killinallday, one of the most exciting series of the day. You look at that Bomb Warrior versus Shaman, and then the Bomb Warrior followed up right afterwards.
A bunch of us were backstage, and TJ had literally just posted on Twitter. He's like, I wish you just had one really hype game decided by bombs, and I feel so let down. And then that happened.
Right.
And it was like, we were literally just like shouting and like jumping backstage because it was just so crazy. And then after that, I did feel like the final game of that match was a little deflated. It was just like, I played an Auctioneer deck and didn't draw Auctioneer, and my deck didn't do anything. But like Killen said, live by the Nomi Priest, die by the Nomi Priest.
Yeah, and I think there's a lesson learned too. When decks are so dependent on that Auctioneer, it just also is very. That happened 3 or 4 times this tournament, and Killinallday, he did a great job hanging in there and put on a good display. But in the end, I think that Priest deck needs a little bit of work. And then we saw that reverse sweep from Hunterace versus A83650. This is the last series we'll talk about and show the top 8. That was a great back and forth series, and the composure from Hunterace that he was able to have, because he was talking about how nervous he was going into it. Day number 3, he was a different man.
Yeah, Hunterace is a player who had just had a lot of expectations on him, right? This was the first big stage that he had played on throughout the year. He had been the points leader, but he never made it to a championship.
Right.
And a lot of people sort of expected him as the global points leader to do well, and he admittedly faltered a few times throughout this tournament and felt like he could have played better. And that match, he was down 0-2 and then came it back with the Henge Clan sneak in Game 5.
Double mind control.
And it was so funny because people were like, what is this doing in your deck? And then you watch that game and you're like, you are just brilliant.
Yes. I remember seeing the chat saying, nice arena deck at Hunterace.
And then it was because he was able to play, coin out a 3-3 his opponent could not trade into that enabled everything else his deck tried to do. It was just wonderful to see like that kind of critical thinking and analytical deck building process just rewarded so clearly in such a clutch situation.
And with that, our top 8 is set. We have Bunny Hopper versus Languagehacker. Just saying, up against Viper. XNJing versus Jing, which we've talked about, and Bloodyface versus Hunterace. I see 2 things here. Of course, that Chinese region kill, but also every single top 8 match is Europe versus America.
It is, yeah.
And also, We have Bunny Hopper versus Viper, who might meet once again in a semifinal situation, just like they did in the Summer Championship, where the winner would go to the finals and potentially be the champion.
Yeah, obviously, we're here at the top 8 of the World Championship, but even then, this feels like a bunch of clashes of titans. We have the global point leader, Hunterace, the America's point leader, and Just Saying. We have every single player who made it to 2 or more championships this year. Bunny Hopper,
Viper
and Bloodyface. I'm just blanking for a second there, but no, I mean it's just such a murderer's row of incredible players that we have remaining for the top 8, and I just can't wait for it.
Yeah, we have 8 players, but only 1 spot to be the world champion. It's been a wonderful day 3 as we had 8 elimination matches. Plenty of hopes and dreams continue to survive, but even more were crushed. What's going to happen in the final day of competition? Who will be our 2019 world champion? You'll just have to find out. Until then, well played.